show. I don't know what time it is. It's like the real time. You know, sorry for starting a little late, but my name is Kyle Joseph, and on my right hand side we have Onika Narayan.
Good night. Good night. Clap for me.
Yeah, and then we have Mr. Mark Ned in the house.
Hey, good day.
Yeah?
Good night, everybody.
Good night, Mr. Mark Ned. And then we have Mr. Sadiq here with us in studio. I'll give Sadiq a round of applause. And then joining us on a phone call, we're supposed to have Mr. Luke.
Reyes.
I don't know if it is easier, Luke Reyes, but I don't know if it is theirs yet. But I say, Luke, you hearing us?
Yep, I'm hearing you.
Hey, good night, Luke. I know, and then last but not
Good night.
least, we have Miss, I was going to say Mr. Yes? Miss
Kyle.
Eva Dell. I'll give Eva something.
Good night, Facebook. Good night, YouTube. So, Kyle called my man, but I'm not taking a small thing. I feel he almost forget, but it's the first time in a while, so I'll allow him, right?
Nice.
But, guys, we already start late. I don't want to go on too much because we have a really awesome show in store for you. Tonight, we're talking about atheism. As a lot of you may know, we now kicking everything off, guys. So start to share one time. We want to have your comments. Remember, once you comment, you can qualify to win one of our awesome giveaways, which I'm going to get to really shortly. But remember to share and comment, all right? If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Or maybe if you have a point of view that you want to share, feel free to share that as well, all right? So we have a 32 gig flash drive sponsored by none other than Mega Mark Computer Services, guys. If you're interested in getting anything done from him, his number is 733-6157 or 330-8791, all right? For all of your computer servicing needs, just give him a call. We also have a Movie Town voucher and a Starbucks voucher for you. So we have some really cool giveaways. All you have to do is comment to qualify to win, all right? We want to hear what you all think. Start to share like crazy. We now getting stuff started. And let's take it back to Kyle.
Hey, all I don't know is how awesome time we're going to have now. Tonight is going to be an interesting show. We have a special guest here with us in studio and online. And both of them have different, I guess, belief views. Would you say, Sadiq, you believe in God? I don't know, asking.
Not entirely.
Not entirely?
Not entirely.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I dispel it 100%, but due to circumstances, there were some really tough times, really tough challenges I had to bear in my life by myself. And when there was the time to really put something down and really say a prayer and believe in God, I got nothing. Right? So it really happened when I was most sensitive and I really needed something, if anything at all. And I believe I said a genuine prayer, a series of genuine prayers, and I didn't get anything. And like after that, it just never sat well with me to pray and believe in a supernatural.
Okay. How about yourself, Luke? I know if you're still here with us.
Yeah, I'm here.
So maybe do you believe there's a God? I don't know.
No, I'm not convinced that there is, no.
Oh, so would you consider yourself an atheist?
Yes, I would.
Yes, you would. So my question, like how you give us how he gave us a little backstory. I want to know, maybe first question I have is how you became an actual atheist.
All right, well, when I was a kid, I was very, very religious. I actually wanted to be an exorcist into my teenage years. And I was doing some studies, some theology studies, and I came across a point where I realized that more than people like to admit, religions are very man-made. Okay. And I tried to find a divinity behind that man-made factor, and I couldn't. And I can shake the fact that it just have man written all over it. I don't see anything divine, and I don't see any evidence of a God or divinity.
So your own came maybe through through knowledge, you're saying, like through your search, you do some research, and then that's when you actually come to a conclusion that you don't believe there is a God?
Yeah, first I stopped believing in religion, and God followed with that.
Okay.
Luke, what religion were you at the time that you started? You said you were studying to be an exorcist. Is that what you said?
As a child, a dream of mine to be an exorcist, and I used to study a lot about religion, the history of it, how it forms, what we know about human psychology behind it. And yeah, in those studies, it became clear to me that, yeah, it's just man-made.
So
I don't see any
what was your
supernatural behind
religious,
it.
what was your religious background at the time?
Excuse?
What was your religious background at the time when you were doing, before you came to the conclusion that there is no God, no evidence? What was your religious background before?
Oh, I was a Christian.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And what about yourself? I didn't ask this.
We have something in common actually with Mr. Luke. My mother, I grew with my mom, and we were really religious.
Yeah.
And we grew up in the church. Like, I was an altar boy, and there were a lot of things to tell me that this is the way, this is the correct thing to do. So it's not that I never was introduced to the whole religion and belief system. I was quite into it, but growing older, there were signs that not only was religion man-made, but there may have been paradigms created by man to understand things that may not have been easily explicable at the time.
Okay. So just going online, we just want to encourage everybody to share the stream, and also to remember you can ask any question you all want, right? So I guess for Luke and Sadiq, people might want to ask you all like questions outside of us, right?
Okay.
So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And vice versa for us. You all might have questions you want to ask us on your panel with myself, Onika, or Mark, and you're all free to put in your questions, right? So seeing that we cover maybe that question about the atheists, I have another question here for you, right, Luke? And here the question is, where do you believe? So seeing that you don't believe maybe necessarily there's a God, right? My question is, where do you believe life came from, or where do you believe man originated then?
I'll answer that. Well, we have a bunch of good understandings of evolution, and that describes the diversity of life on Earth, which would include the forming of man. And where man actually came from, the first life is a different science called abiogenesis. We don't have a clear understanding of that yet. Let's have experiments about it, but yeah, short answer, there's a lot of science and evidence to back it up. The long answer is, we just don't know, and there's nothing wrong with saying we don't know. And I think that inventing an answer in replace of we don't know is not actually conducive to knowledge.
So you basically saying that maybe you don't really necessarily have the like how maybe evolution state that they have their beliefs that life evolved from somewhere, but I guess they don't really have a definition of where it all began, right? Are you saying that you don't really have, for your belief, you don't really necessarily saying you have somewhere where you actually could say, life started here?
No, and I think there's nothing wrong with saying you don't know. Yeah.
And
Okay.
Luke, you've come to that conclusion based on your studies, because you said you studied, right?
Yeah.
And so, based on what you studied, you still cannot make a solid conclusion.
No, if we need conclusions about how man evolved, for instance, then we do have conclusions. We have evolution, we have a lot of evidence to back it up. Yeah, dating, the fossils, transitional, we have all that stuff. But when it came to actually where life came from, we don't have any conclusive answers.
Okay.
And I think that is fine, because science is progressing and we will reach there someday.
I guess, yeah. I guess it's fine if we went on forever.
So,
There was no end.
so you're saying that you don't believe, maybe we have maybe you don't know, I shouldn't say you don't believe, you don't have maybe any knowledge of where things started from, right? But if it is you don't have a knowledge of where things start from, I guess my follow-up question would be, how does that maybe affect your life in your beliefs? What I mean by that is this, right? If it is, you believe you come from somewhere, you believe maybe you have a purpose, some a goal, a vision, or something for your life, right? How does your belief translate to that? See, now you have no source to define where you actually come from.
I'm actually completely fine with that. I think being born with a purpose is not as purposeful as finding your own purpose in life. Because we all have things we prescribe meaning to, relationships, mother, girlfriend, wife, and I think those things we fight for all through our life, and it is more special to me to place meaning on that than to have something that to be born with meaning, in my opinion.
Okay. You have anything on maybe answer on that question? If it is good.
That may fall in line with the statement I made previously with the creation of paradigms to understand things that may not have been easily explainable.
Right.
What I would say though, there are some things that, as Luke said, it's okay in saying that you don't know, right? But there are some things that I would believe you don't need to have a belief in a divine entity to know if something means more than something else, or if something is right from if something is wrong. I don't steal. I've never stolen. And it's not my belief in God that I would be punished if I steal that stopped me from stealing. I just believe that stealing is a bad thing to do.
Okay.
So that's just it.
I guess I can maybe translate to the other question and maybe look at maybe pay attention and maybe you want to add in something, right? So how do you determine like what's right and wrong then?
I think, well, I can speak for myself.
Right.
Determining right from wrong comes from a strong moral compass I have, and I tend to know. To me, I feel when something is wrong.
Right.
So if I'm about to do something that's questionable, I would feel a type of way.
Right.
And it is because what I believe in myself, it is what I'm about to do or what I am currently doing is going against that.
So are you saying that that's subjective to everybody?
It should be, because, I mean, what is going to stop a man from running over a child? Or what is going to stop someone from seeing someone being robbed and attempting to help? What is going to give you that split second to be like, hey, can I help? Or, hey, this might not be right. Or everybody has that decision-making process. How strong it is subjective to somebody, to each individual.
So you were necessary. So are you saying that you don't decide where it's necessary, good and evil?
I don't decide what is good and evil. I decide what is right and wrong based on what I understand.
Okay, so maybe you could just get a little practical then, right? So how maybe you could say like maybe a man who maybe sleeps around with a young child, right?
Right.
And his beliefs and his thoughts, he's actually doing something where he desires. If it's ask him, he'll never say, well, I think I'm doing something wrong. It's something I like. I enjoy being a pedophile. Okay. That's his desires, that's his thoughts. But then to you, if you have your daughter and he's coming around your daughter, how would you determine? How could you actually tell this man he's doing something right or wrong if that is actually what he...
If you determine what's right and wrong.
You understand? If it is to him, he's doing something right.
Okay, so in this aspect, I would draw the example of the laws that there are in place to govern a society, right? So if it is that it is a desire, you said it's a desire, so there is nothing immediately governing there saying that is right to begin with, right? It's a desire, something he feels to do, right? However, there is a law against statutory rape, which states that if a female or male is indulging in intercourse beneath a specific age, that it is wrong. Who decides whether it's right or wrong? That is up for question. As Luke would have said, there's nothing wrong in saying you don't know, but if he feels to do this, it doesn't make it right. So the same way, if I feel to pull a gun and shoot somebody, whether it be out of self-defense or not, it's still some sort of murder. So it's not right. The cause may be slightly justifiable depending on the instance, but it doesn't make it right. So if it's something you want, I don't think a want defines what is right or wrong.
So you're saying if your feelings don't necessarily determine what is right and wrong?
No, it's not that my feelings determine what is right and wrong. I go by what, not so much of what is the norm, but is more of a thing that if I feel a type of way, I would or would not pursue an act.
Alright, so do you believe in truth then?
Yes, I believe in
truth. So you believe truth is absolute. So it means it can be changed, it can be altered.
No, it can't.
So like if I show you a color, like you say blue is blue.
Blue is
so if somebody come and say that green, you know that is not true.
Well,
there's something that you find and that's saying that logical, saying that maybe that is blue. So you can't necessarily avoid from that, right?
No.
So we agree regardless of what people's opinions that there's something called absolute truth.
Okay.
Yeah, asking you. Will you say that?
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so in the natural realm, we understand that maybe you say laws and governance and different things because maybe there was at a point in time and period where the laws and the governance, remember throughout history they explained that people used to sacrifice a child and they would kill the children and do all and they believed that point in time they were doing something and that was actually a lawful act, but then something changed. So it means that in humanity, we have some sense of what we know what is right and wrong that governs beyond us.
Right.
What I mean is there's a sense of truth that can't be changed.
Okay.
You catch where I'm coming from,
Yeah.
right? So it means that there's some governance that says, well, this is right regardless of what your opinion thinks or what anything, because like I said, desires and feelings, right?
Right.
So you can't just live by your life saying, well, I feel like it's orange, so I call it orange white.
Correct.
You know, because that avoiding what truth is, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, how do you as maybe an atheist say, well, something is subjective to being truthful? Because maybe because basically you're saying that if it is to go dig deeper into maybe a theology, right? Is I believe maybe something that's happened by chance. It means if it is we don't really have a source of where we come from, some kind of intelligence. It just means time plus matter plus chance. We know exploded and here we are today, right? And boom, we exist on the face of the earth, right?
Okay.
So then how does all that interline with all of us as human beings? Because intelligence don't really line up with, they're not something like really intelligent, right? That's something by a chance made something that is absolute. I mean, catch what I'm coming from. It's something that's chance can always equivalent to absolute. It means if something is truthful, it's truthful every day of the week.
Okay.
It can't just be a flip a coin because that's what really chance is, right? Chance is just, hey, it happened. That chance and absolutes don't really go hand in hand.
Right.
It means that if something is truthful across the universe, it's truthful across everything else. It's like gravity. You can disagree with it if you want, but gravity, what goes up, come down. It is what it is. I know, so where's the thinking behind that? So see, now we could agree that there's something called absolutes. Where does truth really derive from them?
I think truth would derive from the individual at the time, what they would stand to know as truth. So, as you drew the example, if I show you blue, blue is blue, right? Let's say someone is homeschooled and they never learned colors.
Right.
And you are showing them something that they don't know. So you
Right.
are showing them blue and they are telling you, well, I don't know if that is true.
Right.
It doesn't make the color different. It doesn't make what you're saying wrong. It's just a fact that you know what you know and the other guy knows or does not know what you know.
Right. No, I think you're hinging there with maybe right and wrong. What can
Okay.
you say that with not? But what I'm trying to say, truth is transcends right and wrong. It means that it is blue regardless of what anybody think.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter from in our position if we do come to a fact that we accept that it's blue. You can remember, like if you're teaching somebody, maybe the person that's in ignorance is green. It don't matter what his opinion is blue.
Right.
So that can change, right? So where does this non-changing factor come from?
That I can't say. I can't say what makes truth.
Right.
I can't say.
So we're saying it don't remain necessary a definition to say, well, it is what it is.
It
like
is
it's
what
true.
it is.
It don't really have a
if
definition.
it is true, fine.
Right.
If it's absolute, then fine.
Okay.
But I can't say where absolute truth is coming from. It's almost as though I'm trying to answer where life came from.
Right.
I don't know as well.
Well, so
I can't say.
that's actually the point of the question. Because
Right.
if everything has let's say in atheist belief, right, everything happened by chance, that can't line up with truth.
Yeah.
Because chance doesn't define that. I don't know if Luke wanna maybe say something within there, I don't know.
Yeah, I'd actually like to comment on the discussion about morality.
Yeah.
Yeah, so humans are social animals. We share a planet, we share a town, a city, a neighborhood, and we see how our actions affect others.
Right.
And the thing with morality is, I think that it being subjective isn't even questionable, because even within absolute truths such as what people believe to be Christianity as absolute truth, Islam's absolute truth, they still stray from what they believe to be right. For instance, you have 1,000 different denominations of Christianity, all saying this is right and this is wrong. So even within an quote-unquote absolute truth, there is still deviation.
Okay.
And you mentioned pedophilia. If in Mexico right now the age limit is 12, you wouldn't go to Mexico and say that they're wrong for that.
Right.
But if you were to say in America, you would say 12 is wrong.
Okay.
So once again, I don't think that,
You don't think now what, sorry?
I don't think that morality being objective is actually true. I don't think it could even be demonstrated. Because
So you saying you don't think
Topically.
morality is objective? You saying it must have some sense
No.
where right and wrong is right and wrong is wrong?
No, yeah. I don't think it's objective because it just changes so much even within even family members. I don't think the subject of morality is as easy as that question because morality can come from culture, from music, from theology,
Okay.
even from movies, from your parents, your society.
Okay.
It's a very difficult subject because the prisons is full of Christians. It's not as much full of atheists, but yeah, it's full of all different sorts of people across all different sorts of beliefs. And I think that is.
Maybe to just answer that statement, to just backtrack, because whether it be you come from a religious belief, right? Whether it be Christian, Muslim, Hinduism, even an atheist, right? Whether it is you do something right or wrong, the reason why maybe the way you're saying is a lot of people like in prison, right? Like use prison example, right? It means that there's a standard that is absolute. Whether you say let's say in our country, right? Let's say some moral, you shouldn't murder. I think that most countries believe that you shouldn't murder people, right? So whether or not you do something right or wrong, it doesn't change the fact that that law exists, right? So I'm saying within even science, there's certain truths that you can't just change, right? Like example I use like it's gravity. So it means that there's absolute things come from somewhere. It means that within nature you see that there are absolute truths that just exist, right? And you can't just deviate it how much you want. I give an example like oxygen. We need oxygen to live, right? So whether you agree to something else or try to change that, it doesn't matter. That's how we are made up. That's how we are designed, right? So to just maybe backtrack on maybe the statement you're saying about maybe the hospitals, the hospitals, yes? The jails, that whether Christians do something right or wrong, it doesn't necessarily change God's perspective on what he holds to be truth. You get where I'm coming from? It just means as a human you're doing something wrong. But that right and wrong coming from is not actually from man. It comes from a perspective of God. I don't know if you understand where I'm coming from. It means he set certain laws in place. But he set certain laws in place. And like so like how my brother here say that maybe he have a conscience. Where do you think your conscience come from? What do you? I'm now gonna ask. Maybe do you think you have a conscience? Yeah.
Okay, just real quick, with the subject of absolute truth, I think you might be confusing fact for a belief, because with murder can be considered right in certain cases like self-defense, whereas gravity, you can't choose whether or not to obey it, you just have to obey it. So I think even with murder, there is a gray area that we all accept as a self-defense, one for 1,000 all that. And for consciousness, well, consciousness is another very difficult topic. It evolved over time from simple thought processes, as in we all were motivated by hunger, and we developed more complex systems over time, over a large amount of time.
So remember, you believe that you have a conscience. I'm not necessarily saying where it come from. I'm asking, do you believe, first thing, if you actually have one, if there's something like a conscience that maybe dictates to you personally, like you feel you do something wrong or you feel you do something right without somebody telling you, well, you did right or wrong. Do you believe in what you have something like that?
Yeah, I will say that the brain is completely responsible for that, because if we drink alcohol, our conscious and personality and behavior could completely change. If our brain goes, we go. If our brain is damaged, we can have a bunch of weird effects as a memory loss. We cannot be ourselves. So yeah, I would say our consciousness comes from our brain.
Okay. I believe Mark wanted to ask, I know who a question, but that's why we think, you remember, you can leave your comments, you can leave anything you want to ask, and we'll get into it because we're going to this segment for online, right? So you go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, well, maybe both of y'all could answer, but well, I'm a believer, right? When you look at humanity, I know Luke, he talked about evolution and everything. We live on a planet with other animals, such as fish, whales, and stuff, right? And I always wonder how come the president of America is not an octopus? How come is a human? Like, how come it is that we? And I just want your opinion. And I find like humans seem to be at the top of the food chain in terms of we set the laws for the whole planet. We seem to be the one in charge in terms of we herd chickens by the millions and we kill them. There's no chicken president rising up saying, listen, this is wrong. We have a conscience that evolved over time and you're murdering us. There's nobody really advocating for like the other animals. It just seems to be like we are the one in charge. We are the one making the rules. And also, yes, you don't really see morality and thing coming up with dogs.
True.
When it's mating season, all dogs gone. Whoever was married, it don't matter. 20 dogs running down. They don't have no morality. There seems to be unique things that only humans, we have characteristics that are unique. The only animal that I believe believes in God is the praying mantis. That's the only animal that's really praying. Obviously, I'm joking. I never really see any animal talking about God or debating. They just seem basic, but we seem to have so much in us. We could love. Animals, do they love? Probably, but
They do.
yeah.
You have a dog, right?
Yeah. But I just wanted to ask basically, do you think there's something special about humans versus the rest of creation? Because when you look at, well, my belief says that God actually gave man dominion over the earth. And it would seem to be true because we seem to have dominion over everything, you know, and I just wanted your opinion. Do you think there's something special about humans?
This is directed to whom?
Yes.
Both of you, yeah.
Luke, you want to go ahead?
I don't know if Luke's still there with us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll answer that. Yeah, I think humans are special. I think every animal is special. Humans are special because we have opposable thumbs. We cooked our meat. We enhanced our brains. We have higher, deeper consciousness, sentience that no other animal possesses. And that is why we don't have a chicken president. Also because chickens are as corrupt as we.
So,
But who said that?
but
So
does that
basically-
make it right though? Because aren't we all equal if we all created by the same chance and matter and thing? Why are we treating them so bad? How come it's not them killing us out like that? You know, do you think it's right? Do you think we are equal with animals or are we more valuable than animals?
I will try to answer here. I'm not a scientist, but
Yeah.
what I can say with some conviction is that the alpha nature of humans over everything else on the planet, I believe, comes from a genetic makeup. Because if you take blood from a chicken and you take blood from a human and you look at genetics, there's a lot in human DNA that's not in a chicken or a whale, right?
So, yeah.
So just how we are social beings, the development of a human would be based on, most of the time, the people that they're around, right? So I would learn something from you, you can learn something from me, I may learn something from a friend, etc. But we don't line humans with whales. You may have an aquarium of fish, but you're not gonna put your head in and be like, yo, what's up today? Like that's not gonna happen, right? But fishes are gonna hang together. Fish, we can't tell what they talk about, but in their head, is it safe to assume that fishes think, yo, we run this tank, like this is ours.
Right.
We bring this here, we lock this down. So it's just based on a genetic makeup. We have the capability to lead people and allow people to vote and allow for diplomacy and allow for democracy, etc. But I will say I've never seen a fish vote, so I can't say a fish could say, yo, I am voting for a shark, but I can't say that's going to happen, right? Because I've never seen it. But I believe it's just based on genetics. We have alpha genetic.
So we're
that-
superior and we are the superior.
So it's superior
So just to
to
backtrack, maybe same with our DNA, right? Would you maybe come to a conclusion from, maybe there's a conclusion maybe I could come to, right? Because
Right.
I believe in what you just said, right? That we have maybe different genetics, that we have our DNA that's maybe superior or more advanced than maybe a chicken, right?
Right.
You see that through every animal, right? Our human beings have a much more advanced DNA, right?
Right.
Does that conclude to you that maybe that there's some kind of intelligent design that somebody actually knew what he was doing?
Somebody
Or I know that this is where they struggle with, right? What I mean is that they say you don't want to believe there's a God, but anytime you bring intelligence to something, it must be that the being is, it can't nothing,
itself
it
intelligent.
had to be intelligent.
Yeah. All of that.
Something comes from, let me give you an example, whether you want to say it's an alien, right? When you want to admit, let's say, let me go down now, but if it's an alien of a higher life form, the same way maybe we have higher life form that we are above the chicken and maybe it have something that's much more intelligent than us.
Right.
Because when you introduce things like language, you introduce things like our intelligence, our DNA, it can't be time plus matter by chance. I think I don't know if it is, maybe you could come to that conclusion where you say, all right, I'm willing to accept that this is what made me, but yet I can see beyond that. What I mean is that time plus matter by chance can't produce intelligence.
Okay.
I mean, it just happened. Like we go back to absolute and those things, it just can't just boom, just manifest all of this, right? So it means like maybe what Mark actually trying to ask is maybe that, see now maybe we have this intelligent design within us, right? That where we could make decisions, where we actually have something called a free will, where we actually say in nature that how time plus matter by chance that just put the sun there and that it just in parameter where we could live, and you realize how we revolve, and you realize through science we discover all these things actually have some kind of meaning, that it didn't just happen. Because some scientists will come to a place where they say they would come to an agreement where maybe they want to attribute it to maybe like there's a higher power, but then there's scientists who would clearly say that they have to have a higher power that says, well, this is the case where we come into being, right? All they just disputing is how it happened. So scientists they don't necessarily deal with philosophies, but they would maybe necessarily like maybe a fact. Well, if it is you take my DNA, you transfer it over to like somebody else, most like my son will have some part of, you can trace that, right? So it's something scientifically they can maybe trace. But when it comes to like, let's say a higher power or maybe some intelligence, what do you think about that? Do you think that seeing that you're an intelligent young man?
I would like to believe so.
And you learn things on your own. Do you think that your brain now that's so developed, just boom, just happen? I just go back to like the design of where you originally believe things, right? Do you see?
So that question it can't be answered. For me, it can't be answered with a yes or no, because a simple reason. I have a small family, and I have a cousin who most likely can be the president of this country in a couple of years, right?
Okay.
His parents were not the cream of the crop where intelligence was concerned.
Okay.
But he developed it. Likewise, I have a female cousin who is not the cream of the crop, but her parents are brilliant. They can be scientists.
Okay.
So, yes, I would tend to believe
I may be thinking deeper than that. What I mean by that is this, right? For them to even come to the conclusion they could actually be brilliant, something designed them that way. Where they could talk. So I'll give an example. If you just go up on Mars, right? Like be real here now, right? If you go on Mars and you just land there, right? And it could breathe. Let's just say somehow happen, it could breathe, it could whatever. But then you find a piece of paper with language on it. What would that tell you immediately? What would just stop and say? What would tell you within you that there's what?
There's life and there's intelligence here.
Just from a piece of paper of language. So language could just tell you that there's something higher. It means that you don't think let's say 3 meteorites land and crash and it spell the word thank you.
Right.
It means something write that and put thank you on the thing, right? Where they say, let's just say that, right? And mark thank you. So if it is that, so just by your default, you're saying, if it is you land on a planet and you see that mark up thank you written somewhere, you know it's not even a monkey like that. You know it's something with some kind of intelligence wrote that thank you written there. That's just by default language. And even, so you know, so you by default you're saying that there's some form of intelligence did that.
Right.
So why when it comes to humans, my question to you is this, right? How come all of a sudden you wouldn't attribute that there's some kind of intelligence that designed us? When it is you look at all the makeup of us, you look at how we come from, why it is you just jump to a conclusion where you say, instead of maybe, I'm not saying you call it, I'm not necessarily say you call that person God.
Right.
But saying this, right? How come you don't just jump to a conclusion? Maybe there is something greater than us that designed us. Because if it is you land on our planet, you would say you would come to that conclusion. There is some kind of intelligence. How come when it comes to humans, or just on planet Earth, you don't recognize and say, whoa, the stars, the moon, the sun, it collided? Nah, that could just happen. Something of intelligence put me together.
That's the question, right?
Yeah, that's a question.
I think Luke.
Respond to that and say that we don't really say that it just happened. These are processes that take millions and billions of years. We have good understandings of how they happen. For example, you wouldn't ask who created a volcano. You would ask how was the volcano formed. And I don't think that we should ask who created intelligence, because we should just ask how did intelligence come to be, the processes that got us here. And I think inventing actual jump to conclusion by saying God, by filling our gaps of knowledge by God, I think that is a bit...
So Luke, how would you answer that question then, Luke? How would you answer if you end up on Mars and you saw thank you written on maybe a stone? What would you attribute that to then? What will be your first thought or process, if you're to be honest? Not necessarily where I say where you come from, but as you see it, what will be your thought?
My first thoughts will be skepticism until I actually find out more information about it. I wouldn't jump to the conclusion that it's aliens. I would probably think that it's a human and the mission back in the 70s are a little bit more extravagant than we thought.
Sorry, so you can just repeat that because it sounds a little muffled. Sorry, you can just repeat what you said?
I wouldn't actually jump to any conclusions. I would actually approach it with skepticism and see what the evidence says before forming a conclusion.
So seeing something written, thank you, initially when tell you that is something maybe of intellect, right? That?
Yes, it would. It would tell me that probably humans would.
So human or something of an intellect nature write it, right? And
Yeah.
catch where I come from now, attributing aliens or any other, saying something of intellect. So what tells you, what makes you come to a conclusion where you would say that is something of intellect then?
Well, because we haven't actually seen a piece of paper with something written on it appear in nature. It will have to have been either a very strong coincidence that some sand and rocks will form into that, or it was written by an intelligent being.
Yeah, because I mean, throughout history, we know that, right? Throughout history on Earth, we discover things through Egyptians, different, we see writing on wall, and we don't necessarily attribute it to not necessarily, I don't want to say like something just land and crash it. We introduce it, maybe we look and we say there's something of intelligence, put that there. I talk more like on Earth, so maybe like the Mars is something far, but on Earth itself, we could say, well, something put that there, right? A human being most likely did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they go back to what I was saying, that I know you were saying that when it is you see a volcano erupt and these things happen, it is a process, but where that process have some kind of intelligent design from where it originally come from. So it means, I'm not talking about the now, right? I'm talking about originally. So when I go back to the background atheist, you talk about evolution. Isn't that time plus, it means some matter explode, and then we came, because that's what evolution believes, right? So it means that something exploded, and then boom, we are where we are today, right? It means things collided and then chance happened, and boom, there was the universe, and you know, but the core root of it is time plus matter plus chance. That's the equation.
Well, evolution doesn't actually deal with that. That is physics. Evolution just explains the diversity of life on it.
Okay. So,
And all that
but when you say time plus matter and chance does not equate to intelligence, I ask him.
No, not necessarily, because we don't have examples to the contrary. We know that for right now in our universe and within the world we're working in, we could see that is what happened. That, of course, that enough time given, hydrogen will begin to question its own existence.
Okay, no problem, man. So, I mean, I'm not cutting us, but we're going to the comment section. We hear what's going on, and we'll come back to the discussion.
Sure, yeah.
All right, let me hear what is going on there, Eva.
All right, let me just say quickly good night to everyone that is on and commenting. Thanks a lot for your comments, guys. We have a lot of people that actually wanted to call in, or a few people, well, I should say. If you can send voice notes, I believe we actually have some voice notes as well that we have to play. So let's start off with the voice notes. Just letting you all know, if you, for the persons that wanted to call in, this is the specific segment where you will be allowed to call in, all right? Because you can't exactly call in while the show itself is going on, as in with the panel itself. So this is your time to call in, and we're actually going to hear some voice notes. While you'll prepare that, let me just get some comments in and say goodnight to a few people. I want to say goodnight to Kerwin Narayan, Jerry Williams. Let's see, Easy Rage, goodnight to you. And I want to get into some questions, because there's a lot of talk going on back and forth, so I want to make sure I get into the direct questions instead of just discussing these discussions you all had online. So this one looks like a question. Atheists always ask if God created everything, who created him, as if the creator is bound to his creation. Time, space, matter, etc. is created. God is not bound by it. If you create a cell phone, are you part of the cell phone? And this was from Aloy Dudley. Good night to you. Ricardo Martinez. Good night to you as well. He says we evolve at different rates and from different species. We have another person here. I truly don't know what your name is, but you are the only person with this cool looking writing as your name. So good night to you. And I believe you were one of the persons who said they wanted to call in. So this is your opportunity to call in, and I believe you would have sent a voice note as well. So are we ready with the voice notes? Yeah? All right, let me get a few more minutes with the voice notes. Let's see. Ricardo Martinez, who had dominion when the dinosaurs existed? So that's a direct question there. Let's see. That's a different question. Stephen OS, good night to you. Let me see. Lloyd Dudley, how long does evolution take? Because a fish will always be a fish and a bear will always be a bear. And if they decide to evolve into something else, I hope I'm alive to see it. Let's say good night to Valina Pinnock as well. Lyndon Mack, good night to you. Let's see. I want to get direct questions. Okay. Ricardo Martinez, we have an intelligent designer. Then why do genetic diseases exist? All right, so guys, panel, I just hope you all make a note of the questions asked, and also let me get to our voice notes while I'm reading through the other comments. So this one is from, you're not sure? All right, go ahead with the voice note.
Good evening to everyone. First, let me just say good show again, guys. The question, does God exist? The reality is you are going to find, this person is going to bring about two major principles. You're discussing basically faith versus scientific data and evidence. And it's not something that the two would be able to compare. And I will say this because we need to understand that it's going to be my belief that you all could be there explaining to the atheist guy or atheist people that God exists based on your personal experience. At the end of the day, trying to explain this to an atheist may be challenging. And the reason I'm saying that is God would have, according to the Christians, God would have left the face of the earth and he left them with a work to do. People who have never had a personal encounter with God, you are trying to explain to them something or explain to them a science that does not understand. It just can't work. That is why Christians who are on the face of the earth have to be the examples so that people can experience that level of Christ through them. So, again, it can be argued that God exists from the standpoint of faith, and then it can be argued that he does not exist because there is no scientific data to prove that he does not exist. And that's the world that we live in today.
Well, I don't know if that person said his name. I didn't catch his name.
Nah, I didn't catch his name.
Oh, okay.
We also have another voice note. I hope I'm getting the name correct. I believe it's Peculiar Effect. So we can go ahead and cue that.
What's his name? What's that person?
Peculiar Effect. There's
Oh, okay.
direct name. Well, a person's name, I should say. All right, so while we're waiting on that voice note, let me get another comment in. We have something here from Easy Reach. I would assume someone wrote because we know people can write, so I will have to find the evidence to believe there is someone else there with the ability to write. Well, obviously, these things would have been directed towards the discussion that would have been going on at that specific time. Ricardo Martinez, he says you're mixing up evolution and the Big Bang. Before we get into the other voice notes, I should say, let me go ahead and do a giveaway because that's what my part of the segment is for, right? For like giveaways. And to hear what you lovely people have to say. So, Ricardo Martinez, you are the first winner tonight for one of our prizes. You are the winner of our 32 gig memory card. Congratulations to you. And this, of course, guys, was sponsored by MegaMark Computer Services. So for all of your computer service needs, you can give them a call at 733-6157 or 330-8791. Are you ready with the other voice notes?
So
Yes?
I've been listening to you guys, and the big question happens to be, does God exist? But none of you have been able to tackle it, neither answer the question. Rather, you guys got into talking about morality, which is basically asking the question, if God does not exist, then where does morality come from? Which is pretty much in philosophy it's called the divine command theory. Now, the question is, can morality exist outside of the perception of a God? Or can morality exist outside of the perceptions of sentient thinking creatures, such as human beings? And the answer is yes. If humans were not to exist, morality will continue to exist as an abstract object of the cosmos, like any other, such as distance, time, and speed. 1 + 1 = 2, and so on. All right? Morality, like any other abstract object, is not concrete, yet it exists. And to accept and even realize this reality requires one to expand his or her associative horizons.
I didn't necessarily catch everything he said, but yeah.
Let's see. Let me see what else we have here. Let me say goodnight to Dini, Joshua, Headley. My name is in Greek. Oh, his name is in Greek. That's why. Lyndon Mack. The question will bring two discussions: faith versus scientific data. Both cannot equate the same. Faith goes beyond any data. Sabrina Sherry Ali, good night to you. She says she believes that God does exist. Let's see. Sean Sook, good night to you. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. Deep stuff there. All right, so guys, if you have any direct questions, feel free to ask. I know that there's a lot of discussion going on online where you are actually communicating with each other back and forth. But if you have any direct questions, feel free to ask, and you can continue to send in your voice notes. We'll do our best to get as much of them in as possible, and we still have a few more giveaways to go, so feel free to continue commenting. All right, we will be back to my segment in about 20 minutes or so you can guess up yourself for that specific time. All right, we're gonna go back to Kyle now.
Hey, thanks for coming back. Awesome hearing your inputs. I mean, I didn't fully capture it because it was sounding a little muffled, the last guy statement. I don't know, you were saying it probably, it was kind of muffled. I don't know until left off, I don't know if this you wanted to ask a question, because I don't know, I'm getting into your question, but go ahead.
Yeah, just quickly, well, I believe in the Bible. I believe that the things of this world, actually reflect the Bible. And I believe the Bible to be the true word of God. And while the Bible says, well, this is in Job, I read it quickly. Ask the animals, they will teach you, or the birds of the air, and they will tell you. Or speak to the earth, and it will teach you. Or let the fish of the sea, or let the fish in the sea form you. I don't know what's going on there. Which of these does not know the hand of the Lord has done this? In his hand is the life of every creature and the breath of all mankind. So it's probably the version, but what basically I believe the Bible is saying is that the Bible actually says creation points to God, right? And I just want to talk about that very quickly. If somebody was to hand me this phone, I would immediately look at it and say, wow, it's really well put together. There's technology in it. There's an operating system. I could hear calls here and I could speak, and it really intelligently designed. And it have like a brand on it named Samsung, right? It's the same thing with us. I believe, I questioned when I was young if there was a God or not, right? But it's like every time I go outside, I believe this earth is like a banana. You're looking at the banana and you're wondering,
Like a banana.
I will never have a banana tree. Well, I look at the sun, right? The sun and the moon just be spinning around the earth, or is the earth wrong? I don't know. I failed science, right? Yeah. So bear with me. But to me, it does look like the sun every morning coming up, and then the moon every day. They never collided. The earth never went to Jupiter and come back. The laws of gravity and thing was in place, right? That is one thing. The earth exactly enough away from the sun so that we could actually survive. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. All right, that is that. You look at how we are designed. Our eyes not to the back of my head, my eyes not in my ears, my eyes right here, everything up. The way, if you look at your human body, the way it's designed is actually amazing, right? There seems to be a lot of intelligence behind it, there's the reproductive system in a woman. Nobody does ever get pregnant in their hand or in their back. The reproductive system generally is the same amongst all women, right? There is an order. Okay, there's a lot to do with that. All right, you move on to the, I'll just go in quickly, right? You have the water cycle. Water evaporate, go up into the cloud, it come back down. You see our order in that. There's summer, autumn, spring. You have your order to the even the
Winter.
Yeah, we are winter. You just see the way the earth is designed is too much order.
Right.
It's literally too much. Every place you look, even if you look at the sea and the way that the fishes, they have their own ecosystem. To me, when I look at the world and you look at creation, you look at the design of a tiger and how luxurious the stripes is, you say whoever invent this thing, they're real amazing. Because we invent things too. We make cars and we make things, and in it you see intelligent design. And when you look at ourselves, we are way more intelligently designed than a vehicle. And
Any machine.
yeah, and it's just crazy to look at yourself. The Bible say that we were made in the image and likeness of God. So just like how this phone, the brand is Samsung, your brand is God. So God actually made us like him. And to me, that explains how come we have dominion over everything on the earth. Generally, we have dominion. And if you think about, if I was an atheist, honestly, well, not thinking nobody, I would have killed people and don't care. And here why? Because I want to be unique. Everybody have a moral way. Killing is wrong and thing. And to me, generally, most humans believe that killing and these things, we have a general, our morality is similar. We believe lying and adultery and thing is wrong generally. But if you are an atheist, who cares? Who set the rules? Who make Keith Rowley my boss? I is my own boss. And who says, suppose I want to say killing is right. And we should stop not killing and everybody should kill and make that law and make that right. I would want to set my own rules because what he makes, when I die, I just going to disappear anyway. So I might as well do something crazy. So that's just my take on it. If there is no God and if there is no person setting morality, if there's no consequences to my actions, why live good in the first place? Why work and fight up and thing when I could kill a man and take his car? And why live good? Why even bother? If there's no God, to me, there's no hope. But to me, there's too much evidence that points to there being a God. When I look at myself, I find I look too good to just be just so. It's not just so. That's just my take.
Okay, so guys, before y'all continue.
But what made me actually believe in God quickly is I actually prayed and I didn't know who was God. So I prayed to the gods I knew was Mother Lakshmi, Allah, and Jesus. And I prayed to them, and somehow I prayed to Jesus last. And I was like, God, if you're real, please reveal yourself to me. I know you were saying that you prayed and you feel like God didn't come through. Well, in this situation, you believe in him for. I didn't get no bright light or anything like that, but in my heart, I had a sense of, when I prayed to Jesus, I never went to church, I was maybe 10 years old. I had a sense of his love. So basically, what made me believe in God, other than the external things that I could see and know that he was real, is I had a heart encounter with God. In my heart, I really wanted to know for real if he's real. And I believe any person, it don't matter who you are, God didn't make you just not to reveal himself to you. If you from your heart want to know if he's real genuinely, he will reveal himself to you. I could put my head on a block for that. Okay. That God does want to have an encounter with us.
Okay, what did I want to say? Before, I don't know.
We actually have someone who is trying to call. The person has been calling. I don't know if Fred is his name. I saw somebody say Fred is calling. I truly don't know if that's your name. Specular Effect. Oh, it's actually Specular Effect is trying to call. So I'm finding out because the person is calling. If you all want to take the call now, you prefer to wait until my segment reaches.
We maybe wait for the segment because because I don't know. Luke's still there?
Yes.
No, I just want to know if he could hear us. I don't know.
Yes, he should be able to. Yeah.
Okay, because remember they had a call with Luke. I'm not hearing him now, so I just want to make sure before we continue the conversation.
Is there? Luke, you still with us?
Hello. Alright, so while we try to get back, look on the phone, you organize that. I don't know, maybe you have something you want to counteract
We
with.
didn't cover all the questions, so.
I know, but then we continue going. While we get back, look here.
I wouldn't say I have something to counteract, but what I would say is, let's use the last example you gave, right? You genuinely you felt within yourself that you felt a different type of love that you would have ever experienced before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, as I said, I grew up religious,
Yeah.
right? So this is not anything alien to me, right?
Yeah.
So I would have had as explainable as a 7-year-old could explain,
Yeah.
I would have had that perfect explanation that there was a God, or there
Right.
is a God, right?
Yeah.
So let's put this into context. Now, I was about 16 years old, right? I have been working since I was 13, right?
Wow.
I was 16 years old. My mom had a job as a security officer. Now, she's a female. This is not
Yeah.
an optimal field for
Yeah.
a female, right? She was a precepted officer. I saw with my own 2 eyes a male of enormous stature assault my mother on her job, resulting in both my mother's hands being broken. Right? This is in front of me.
Wow.
Right? This is in front of me, and I am about 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward a couple months, I was accepted to the University of Trinidad and Tobago in Omera under a scholarship to do music because I'm very musical, right?
Yeah.
That's my passion. Music is my passion, right? I got the letter in the mail 1 week before that happened. I had to go to school off of the money that my mom was working for, which stopped coming in
Yeah.
because my mom got injured. Because she got injured on her job said that they don't owe her anything
Yeah.
because she got injured in the line of duty, and that's stated
Wow.
when you sign. This is what you sign up for, basically, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right. So I had to forsake my scholarship,
Wow.
drop out of school to go get a job, to pay for therapy that is it's in numeric figures that I didn't even know existed at that point in time at 16 years old.
Yeah.
Right? To pay for medication. No male representative in the house. No father, no daddy. This is me alone.
Yeah.
Right? Within about 6 to 7 months when my mom started to get better, a freak accident happened. Not once, not twice, but 3 times in the same week. We got flooded really badly. So on top of my mom being incapable to do anything, and when I say anything, I mean anything. That time of the month, I had to do it. I had to cook, I had to wash, I had to clean, I had to do every living thing because both hands are broken, right? That takes a toll
Yeah.
on your mental, right?
Right.
And I reached a point where I couldn't do it anymore.
Okay.
I couldn't do it anymore because I am seeing my life being halted to see about my mom. And I have no objection towards seeing about my mom.
Yeah.
But I have to achieve something in order to be able to see about my mom in the later half of her
Yeah.
life, right? And this night, I will never forget this prayer. I prayed for my mom to get better. I didn't pray for a job. I didn't pray for a breakthrough. I didn't pray for God to reveal himself. I prayed believing he was already real to just allow my mom to get better so that she can go back to work so that I could then pursue my
Yeah.
education, right? It took me a year home going through these motions over and over with no help, no family, no grant, no nothing. You know how it ended up turning into something? I left home with $27, 2 t-shirts and a jeans in a plastic bag. I took a bus to Port of Spain and I'm here today. Now, I'm from Loughborough, right?
Yeah.
Right.
At that point in time, it was $15 from San Fernando to Port of Spain. I had $27. I got a drop from Loughborough to San Fernando. Spent 70% of the money that I had in my pocket to get to Port of Spain, not knowing what I was going to do after, during, or even before I got there. And I got here. Because of persistence and bad mind.
Okay.
And nothing happened. I prayed daily. I prayed. I cried. Everything. I sought every avenue there was other than crime. I was there.
Yeah.
And I got no assistance. And after that, for me to accept that there is a God that loves me unconditionally, to see me crying out as a Christian wanting my mother to get help, not even a selfish prayer, wanting my mother to get better, and I got nothing. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say. So my disbelief comes from a genuine, heartfelt place. This is not, I'm trying to be unique because everybody believes in God and I'm different. No. This comes from a place of hurt and a place of mourning and a place of looking at the woman who sacrificed everything to give to you and you can't give it back to her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And wanting some sort of help.
So maybe I could ask Unika, right? Maybe how maybe we respond to maybe if the like his situation, life happened, where God is in the
I'm gonna
picture.
ask him some questions.
Okay,
first,
what do you
though.
got? I mean, you know. I mean, I don't mean to. Where your mom alive still is?
Yeah, she's
Okay, cool.
She
That's what-
eventually got better.
Okay, cool. She got better. Okay.
And you're able to help her now?
not the way I should, but I'm her only child and I'm her only form of support.
Okay.
And I have a daughter of my own. She's one. So I'm a new parent. So I have obligations of my own. So I cannot help my mom the way I want to. But I have things in motion that once I pursue and I'm getting pretty good feedback, it should bring. The problem is money. Once the money comes in, I can do what needs to be done for mom.
Your mom lives with you now?
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't. So she's still
She lives at La Brea.
at La
Oh,
Brea
still in La Brea, okay.
by herself?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Oh, okay. So why don't bring her by you?
She comes, she visits.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, I hear you, and I mean, my life was nothing like yours, right?
Okay.
But I guess being involved in ministry, I hear a lot of horror stories. Not to make light of yours, people go through. There's no dispute in that. There's some people
evil in this world. Like things happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are people who are born from the time they're born. I mean, your situation happened after time. Some people are born into unfortunate circumstances,
Right.
and that's not something you ask for.
No.
You never asked for that to happen. Your mom didn't ask for that to happen to her. And that person, what is a little strange to me, right? Coming from somebody who had a belief in God. Okay, the person who assaulted your mom, I guess it started from there. That person did that on their own free will. I
Yeah.
mean, agreed. The thing is, we all have free will, which is why there's murder and which is why there's rape, which is why. So if we were to say that, basically you are saying you're blaming God. This is how I'm getting it, right?
Okay.
You're blaming God for the free will of man.
Is that a
That's
question?
how I'm seeing it. No, that's how I am. That's how when I listen
Which
to you.
means when I hear a story,
I
that's
get-
what
yeah,
the
that's
impression
what- that way.
That what she's
Okay.
saying.
Yeah, it sounds as though that you're putting the blame on God for what a human being has control, because we do have control on this earth. As Mark, I think, was saying, we have dominion. We do. We have a free will. And if you think about it, Sadiq, if God were to, what you would perhaps want God to do, I'm not talking about making your mom get better, right? Going back to the beginning. If God were to take away man's free will, then what would we be? Where would, you know what I mean? What would we be if we did not have a free will?
The ability to choose?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first, let me debunk. It's not me blaming God for anything. Things happen,
Right.
right?
Okay.
Where I had the problem
Was the
was
healing
when
part.
there was no other way for me to get any type of assistance for my mother, so I sought divine intervention,
Right.
and it failed to me.
For her, and you talking about for her to be healed, for her arms to get better.
I mean, we look at Lazarus.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about
Yeah,
the Bible,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We look at Lazarus. He was dead.
Yeah.
He came back alive because of
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right.
Right. Men were healed from terminal illnesses, right? Because of Jesus.
Right.
My mom just needed her hands.
Okay.
That's it. And it's not that they were totally destroyed. She just needed to be able to get something to be able to use her hands so that she could provide for herself.
Okay.
Not even for me.
Yeah.
So I maybe want to just ask Luke a question. Listen, Luke, what maybe you have to share input from a brother here on your stance and your belief. You know, I would like to know what was maybe your what would you tell him?
Check your screen.
Well, I hear him.
He's. Oh, but we can't hear him? Oh.
I don't know if I could talk to you just
Sure,
a
that's
little bit, Sadiq. I feel your pain. I feel it as if it's me. I didn't go through what you went through, but I started to work when I was 16.
Right.
I have a single mom. Well, I was in a single parent family, but I have friends that, and I'm not diminishing your situation. There are many people who I know that go through crazy things in this life, and sometimes you cry out to God and you seem like you're not getting the answer. I had times in my life where even I, as a believer, crying out to God for some things and not seeing it coming through, right? And the situation that happened to your mom, crazy. It's almost like, if this is how I look at it, it's like you were robbed of the blessing that was coming through your music. It's almost like you had this, almost like you were going for your dreams and bam, it was snatched away from you. And that could break you, because you're going down a road now where you never thought you were supposed to go down. It's unfair, and if God will, how is this happening? But that's the unfortunate thing about this world. And actually, I believe in God, right? God actually tells us, don't even make the things of this world your treasure, because this world actually has evil in it. We have I believe there's an enemy. We do evil things naturally, but there's also an enemy that attacks our lives. And I believe your life is actually the enemy robbed you of things, blessings you were supposed to have, even of a father being in your life, right?
Right.
And obviously it was hard to see your mom hurt, and you've seen people getting healed even in the Bible and it not coming true, right?
Right.
I don't think anybody could necessarily give you the answers for that. But what I do see though is that when I look at God, I don't see a God that just up in heaven on your iPhone, you going through your thing and you're praying and he do business. I actually see Jesus with his hands. His hands was actually pierced, right?
Right.
He was beaten. Well, I don't know if you believe,
Kinda know the story, I guess,
but God, for a fact, was destroyed. God came as a man, and us men in our morality and evolution and whatever, we actually beat God and kill him. And Jesus actually suffered for us, right?
Sure.
And I just want to let you know that I know you may feel disappointed by what happened with God and well with your mom, but unfortunately, we all suffer in this life. God came and he suffered too. I suffer. Maybe there's other people who don't really suffer.
I forgot to mention that. How could I not say? I mean, my mother was a pastor.
Right.
I grew up in church, and I saw my mom pass away from cancer. And I prayed. I pray harder than you, and I believe harder than you, because it wasn't something that. It was a belief that God could heal, and not only did I believe that God could heal, I saw God heal me. So if God could heal me, clearly He could heal my mom, right?
Healing in what way?
Huh?
Healing in what way?
From sickness. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean sickness. You
Okay,
know,
cool. I just
I've been
asking.
physically sick, and I know that God has
It's really not
healed
for me.
me.
It's really well for
Right.
everybody listening. For him
Yes,
too as well,
so
right?
physically sick.
Yeah.
And so I was at my mom's bedside while she was dying, and I was praying, and in the last moments, praying and saying, "But God, you could heal my mom," and I couldn't. Being a believer, a pastor's daughter, growing up in church, I too, at one point, questioned God, like, why? In my eyes, I'm seeing my mom, she's living a good life. She's a pastor's wife. I know she's not,
Right.
why is my mom not being healed, right? But in that moment, well, I don't know if you believe, Sadiq, but I mean, we all do have to die.
Yeah.
Nobody, I've met nobody who lived forever on earth. Everybody goes, right? How you go is the serious part, right?
Right.
Some people go peacefully, some people die of different diseases. It's, unfortunate how it happens, but we all die. And so for me to question God at that point, I actually, at one point, Sadiq, because of my belief in God, I think I went the opposite way. Because of my strong faith and belief in God, and not being able to ignore His impact in my life and even my mother's life, it actually gave me, and I saw my mother was dying, worshiping. She was singing a song, If I wouldn't sing it. I can't remember it. Yeah, but she couldn't speak clearly, but she died humming a song, a worship song that she liked,
Okay.
and I saw that as God. I mean, somebody could look at that and say, well, how God taking my mom, or why didn't he my mom? I saw the ability for her to die like that as God, that only the peace of God in somebody having a real relationship with God could die like that. And for me, Sadiq, because my mom was probably the closest person to me at that point,
Right.
I know for a fact, again, it was only my faith and trust in God and knowing that he's real that kept me. I found out like weeks after my mom passed that I was pregnant, and she didn't even know. I didn't even get to tell her. So, you know, all those things, if I sit and I think about that, I know Satan had a plan in that whole situation. We like to leave Satan. I don't know where your stance is on Satan, and even Luke, I wanted
Well,
to
not
ask him
necessarily
that.
necessarily Satan, but evil.
But evil.
Evil.
I don't know
Dominant.
what your thinking is, and I mean, if Luke could have answered that too, where I know you say you don't believe necessarily in a divine being per se, or you're not sure if it's, you know, but in terms of evil, what is your stance in that? Like,
I believe divinity will come on both sides. Like, I cannot believe that black is not a color, but believe white is a shade.
right.
Yes.
You have to have one and the same. Now, I believe there is evil, but I don't believe that there is a evil being
Okay.
orchestrating acts of evil towards 7 billion plus people. I don't believe that. I believe that there are some people, like as you said, if you were to be an atheist, you would go about and kill people.
Yeah.
That would be a decision that you make within yourself. I
Right.
believe that there are people who are subjected to the darker side of themselves, because everybody has a thought now and again, and I am going to stand by it by saying everybody at some point in your life has a thought that is of a dark nature at some point in time. The reason why there is crime and there are crime solvers is because not everybody resorts to that or gives into the darker side. They would either assess, is this the right thing, or is this going to benefit me during a longer path or not? So, no, I do not believe that there is a Satan, but I believe that there is evil in the world. There's evil in man. I believe everybody has
So what-
evil
I
in
would
them.
say this to you, right? It makes sense what you say. Who is to say that being evil is not good?
Right?
Who is to say that what the guy did to your mom, in his mind, maybe he right? Who says that is right or wrong? That is his morality. If there's no God, and there's, even if the law of the land, who's them? We are. He to him he could be his own president.
Right.
But what I would say, I would argue for God and say, if that man who hurt your mom, if he actually truly believed God and was actually a believer in Christ, he would have never done that to your mom. So I would say this: if you actually believe the things that God says, the way that we should live, you'd find that everybody would live a better quality of life, and what happened to your mom would have never happened if that man believed in God. And if everybody actually would just live by the 10 Commandments, you wouldn't have murder, you wouldn't have crime. A lot of the problems in this world would never be going on. So I would say that it would seem that God have our best interests at heart. But if you take God out of the equation, anything could happen. And I would say that if somebody want to be bad, you can actually come down on them, because it have no higher authority than us telling us this is right or wrong. So even evil itself could have its way, and you could maybe have your opinion, but that person have a next opinion.
You know, it's been a little quiet, you know what I mean? But because it's like I don't necessarily understand your pain. I mean, I understand what you went through,
Right.
but understand even more the conflict. Because I want to understand what the conflict is, right? You basically saying you're not necessarily an atheist by knowledge, through experience. Like,
It's through
you're
experience,
saying, nah, I don't believe in our God and this thing happened, right? But the bigger conflict is this maybe you have in your life. Is where atheism or nobody could really relate. Love is not something scientific.
No, it isn't.
You understand? So now my question to you is this now, where you go down. So maybe hard questions to ask now, right?
That's fine.
The same way you feel maybe towards your, I mean, you know, everybody listening online, I'm sure maybe people have the input, right? But I'm sure maybe the way maybe you feel about your daughter.
Right?
And you wouldn't want nothing to happen bad to her.
No, of course.
And you know, to hurt her, to harm her. And in the same way, I have a side question, right? Because I would like to know this question before I continue, right? Sure. I mean, that's just a side question. Maybe does your mother not believe in God?
My mother is us. Can I say staunch?
Yeah.
Still.
My mother, yeah, she is.
You know, so the reason why I find that interesting is that in life you realize something, right? When situation happens to most people who become naturally, like in your sense, an atheist through life, right? Your outcome in life was that this was the situation that happened and you decided not to believe in God. Whereas your mother actually suffering in the actual event, who actually went through the physical abuse, who actually can't use her hands, maybe, I know, she could operate,
she know. They have impairment.
Impairments, right? So who had to go through that whole season of her life like that, she actually maybe drew closer to God.
She said she did.
Yeah.
He
So
probably helped her through.
so my point is this, right? I don't want to say this because it might seem weird, but God is a real person. He's a real being, right? If I was to say, and he demonstrates love towards us. So whether we come to a conclusion where we say we never like maybe see it or anything like that, right? Could you say now that maybe through all this happening in your mother's life, would you say like how you come to a stance where you just come to a place where I don't believe in anything? Doesn't it kind of amazing that at the end of the day, you saw a change in her life that wait now, she actually still believes in God and there's something hopeful. Like could actually say, well, there's something, because the reason why I was going to ask Luke to talk to you is because what would be an atheist advice about love and all these things to you?
I don't think love comes from a divine place. I think love is not scientific, but it's an emotion, and we have a plethora of emotions as humans.
Right.
So how we would demonstrate these feelings towards each other would be different.
Right.
But the being God is a being of love, and the ultimate sacrifice out of love for us to save our souls, etc. Right? But I've read about guys that literally lie over people to save them from dying, and they died in their place, but they were not God.
Right.
So they didn't make the ultimate sacrifice. Something within them told them that my life at this point may not be as valuable as this person that I am able to save. And save through love.
Right.
So I don't think that for me to love, I need to understand God. I think
No, I'm not saying to understand God. But what I mean is you can't just dismiss that there's this real purpose. Because love has a purpose. It has a sense of, in other words, when we love has a natural purpose, right? It means that when you love something like a daughter, a human being, you want the best for her life.
right.
So in the same way you love maybe your mother, you wanted a better life for her. You didn't want this to be her life. You didn't want her where these bad things happen.
Right.
So it means that when it is you start with this, now that's where it's getting to all moral stance and all these different things where all these things come into play and where we say where evil come in. So I'm trying to give you maybe a bigger picture where we can input where evil is and where you understand where I'm coming from. I'm not talking about from a perspective of like say we need love from God. What I'm saying is that we were designed that way. So in other words, where there's asking about where there's free will. The reason why love is possible is actually because we were given our free will.
Right.
You understand? So we have the choice to choose, and you have a choice right now to maybe actually love your daughter. You catch where I'm coming from, right?
Right.
You have that. God has given us that possibility where we could actually have that. So when I say God, right, it means that we were designed that way, where we actually have a choice. In other words, you could have been like a robot and not care about anything that happening, and not care about, hey, your mama I get chop up this, whatever. You know what I mean? You could have just behave like a robot where you have no emotions, you have no feelings, and they could have attributed it to where you say, well, whatever to life, because you don't even have those things, right? You don't have the elements to care, you don't have the elements to have compassion, but you would realize now that you do have that elements. How does that affect my life moving forward? Now, you had certain bad situations that happened to you, right? Where you sit your mom, but my point I was trying to get to is that your mom didn't take it that way. Yes, she went through a lot of bad things, right? She went through a lot of suffering, a lot of hurt, and she, like you rightfully said, she drew closer to God. So it means that if it is, I can't ask your mother this question because obviously she's not here, right? But I'm sure this situation is not what drew her closer to God. It means that he's suffering and different things. And maybe it means that she had some kind of inspiration or some kind of hope that the Lord revealed to her personally herself. You get what I'm from? Yeah.
She said that what, and I don't mean to cut you.
Yeah.
She said that what inspired her to grow closer to God was seeing her son without any, how did she put it? Without any fatherly influence, stand up and be a man before it was his time.
Right.
And I was like, but you don't need, I told her, I was like, Mom, I love you, but I don't see how that makes you closer to God. Because there is no child that is going to sit down and see this happening to their mother or father and not, whether you know how or not get up and do something.
All right. So the reason why she attributed, I don't mean to put it in this way,
Sure.
the reason why she attributed to those things is because she believed that there's something that is written that way.
Okay.
What I mean is like how you design, like how you saying that you design that way that you would love. You'd have some kind of compassion. And what I mean is that she's seeing that God has been doing that through your life. Catch where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
She sees that intelligence, she sees this aspiration, how God created us, that we could have the ability to actually do that.
Okay.
And so, because if it is we have no purpose, we have no life, and we're just going to dead and going to be meaningless, why do all that? Why live in, why, in other words, why not fulfill your dreams and go and live life? Because at the end of the day, if your mom die, it's nothing. It cannot come from it have no meaning, it have nothing to life.
I just, from the time you said that your mom still believed in God, I was thinking, even though there wasn't a miraculous miracle, you were actually the miracle for her.
Right.
And what the miracle was is that she didn't get a supernatural healing, but her son actually was the one that gave up everything to take care of her.
I don't see that as a miracle.
Well, you probably don't, but to her, it was. And is actually what actually made me accept Christ. Because God actually gave up everything to come as a man to serve us, to die. And you may not see it, but you actually moved in a way that Christ would. You were actually demonstrating Christ to your mother, and you don't even know it. And you were the one that actually strengthened her faith in God. And actually what you did, God actually would honor that, I believe. God would honor that.
Yeah,
But
so-
I would just want to say, the reason I really identified with how you felt, I got robbed many times. And they pulled gun and thing. And it was generally one race was doing it, right?
Right.
Africans.
Right.
And I was a racial man. I hated African people. And I was an African. And
Was?
that was, yeah. I still am. But that was my response, hate. And I wanted to join a service and get a gun to go out with a pink pants and a pink jersey and be like, oh my gosh, I'm in a lonely alley, for them to rob me to blast them. That is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be the superhero eradicating. But that was hate had taken my life. So I know how it is. Sometimes you can respond to a situation with, hey, I'm going to go to God, or you could allow the situation to really carry you down a certain way. But I just want to say you were the miracle for your mom.
Okay. So, to take this point, like, I mean, sadly to say this, right? Everything that you're fighting against actually do line up with your belief. Hear what I'm saying, right? Everything that you're saying with love and morality and all these things existing, it actually does not line up with purpose and love.
Okay.
Because we're actually saying is if it is maybe we just happen, how do you attribute all this life, purpose, truth, love, all these things now? How do you add all this to the equation, but then you're going to die in the meaningless?
Or is it that
That's
you're not
the
sure what
question.
happens
Yeah.
when you
Sorry.
die? Do you have an answer for that? Like what happens after?
After I die, I'll be buried.
And then that's it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much.
So you get where I'm coming from, right? All that do add up with your life experiences. Why care so much about something that is nothing?
I think I cared and will still care about generally human life and human interaction. I care because this right now here, while I'm alive, this is what I know. So I don't want to be the guy that somebody can be like, yo, this guy coming, look out for him. He doesn't really care about anybody. I don't want that interaction. I want to be the guy that's like, well, without the pink pants and I would prefer to not be that guy, but I want to be the guy that people can be like, you know, this guy might be a little edgy, but if you listen to him, he comes from a real place. So I think this was it was fated for me to be here on Real Talk because I'm a person that operates out of realism.
Right.
I am not
We
going
say fated?
fated.
Okay.
I
So you
am
believe a little bit in faith. You have a little faith in you.
FAT.
Oh, okay. You have a little bit of faith in you. Go ahead.
So I believe that what I lost my train of thought, sorry. I believe that if it is, I am able to help you and I choose to do that, that means that I chose to do the best thing within me to help another person.
All right.
So,
But you catch where I'm coming from, right? That does not line up with purpose and actually being how you are designed. Because if it is you take, like go back to the big point, right? If it is you are saying that all these things are subjective, but they are truths, and then you're also saying that, hey, we just happen. I mean, we do already have a purpose, a design. We didn't come with, not like we design on this earth and we have some kind of intelligence and we have something built in for love. If it is we just all going to die, where's all this thing about trying to be nice and trying to be good about? Because when you die, there's nothing going to happen to you.
okay.
So it means that if it is now you're trying to add value to your life, where you say, no, I would like to be a better person. My question will be, why you want to be a better person? Who taught you that you need to be a better person? Is it that something that's written in you? You can try to remember, is that within you, you have something that's intelligent enough to say, well, make bad decisions? And my question now will be higher than that. My question now will be like this. All right, so why it is now I was designed this way? If it is, I have some sense of free will and I have some sense of, I can make a choice and I can make some sense of loving people, I'll have maybe more higher questions. If it is, I just have, that don't line up with chance, if you catch where I'm coming from. That don't line up with just evolution, they don't line up with none of those things. That had a line up where you have a child and you actually created your child and you have love towards her. You see that naturally in human beings. Where it is you don't create a child and if it is somebody doing something wrong, immediately you will say that that person doing something bad to a 2-year-old. If it is you read on the news, a 2-year-old was burnt in a microwave. Whether it is you agree, whether it is you say that person can choose or not, you know intrinsically inside of you that there is something terrible that person did.
Yeah.
The reason why you know that is not based upon necessary right and wrong, it's actually based upon love. You're not actually basing it upon why the person actually did it. You're not basing it, maybe the person was saying, well, this was the best way my child should live, that she should die because she had cancer and I think she should have gone out that way rather than she suffer on the earth.
Okay.
You just dealing with, whoa, I would, no matter what it comes to, I'll never treat my daughter that way. So you realize that it comes from a place of love, and that love cannot be answered. If you understand that the word of it actually cannot be answered through science.
The word love, you said?
Yeah, it can is that emotion, those feelings. That's not something that's actually atheism has no answer for that.
Okay.
You know, that's why maybe we could say when we had to accept that there's some things I just don't know.
Right.
But yet you know, it's built into you. You know that there's something more than this I'm experiencing. When you were a little boy, 13 years old, and you're suffering, you know there's something more going on in life. That there's something really happening to me and I had to cry out as a being, you know, there's something more that's actually happening. That's beyond you. You catch where I'm coming from, right?
Yeah.
Benny, let me go to the comments because I know we had a segment for a little time and then we're going back to Luke on yourself, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for all of your comments. We actually have some voice notes that we want to get in, but let me firstly do some of the comments. We have Sabrina Singh. She says, my testimony is Jesus is real. Unfortunately, I just lost that comment because someone else commented. Let me go down, but I really love question. Can I ask you? I can't go for anything. Let's see. Dale Fornelia, good night. It's very difficult to believe that God does not exist. There are lots of evidence. There are lots of evidence all around to prove he does. Christian and atheist scientists agree there was a beginning, but the atheist stops short of saying that God created the beginning because there are a lot of archaeological discoveries that prove everything the Bible says. All the geological locations of the Bible are all there. All the prophecies of the Bible coming through. Even people like Richard Dawkins, who is one of the greatest atheists, admitted Jesus existed. So there are lots of evidence that God exists, and it's not based on faith alone. Let's see, Aloy Dudley, good night again to you. Evidence. We can literally choose to say or do whatever we want at any given time. That's free will. Well, I guess that will be based on other discussions that were taking place. Are we ready with any of the voice notes? Yeah? Yeah, we have a few voice notes. And guys, this is your segment to call in. I know there were a few people who wished to call in, and this is your segment where you can't call in, all right? Unfortunately, you are unable to call in while the panel is actually, while the guest and the host and everyone that you see there is actually engaged in the topic, all right? So this is your opportunity to call in So if you wish to call in, please do so right now. All right, guys, because I know a lot of people really wanted to call in. Thanks so much for your calls and your input. So our first voice note is from Specular Effect, and we can go ahead and cue that now.
Yeah, the guy who said the absence
it
of
a
evidence
call?
is not evidence of absence. What that basically means is that you are never required or called upon to prove a negative. If something does not exist, the only proof for its non-existence is the lack of proof. That's what he means. And you're never asked to prove that God does not exist. If God does not exist, the only proof for God's non-existence would be lack of proof, which there's tons of lack of proof.
Okay, and we have.
When it comes to the issue of belief, people believe what they want to believe. An atheist could have the most evidence, a Christian could have the most evidence. But just like in court, it comes down to the judge and the jury. So somebody always had to make a decision. There's no amount of evidence to say 100% this person is guilty or innocent. It's just a choice. So people make choices based on what happened to them. I can give atheists millions of evidence, but if their parents died, or they cried to God and God didn't answer their prayer, to them, that's all the evidence they need. God and read. You know what I mean? So it always comes down to the person and free will and what they choose to believe. Yeah? Because there's plenty evidence for God.
All right, we actually have a call coming in now, so we're going to accept. This
Okay.
is where you'll be able to discuss. From Specular Effect.
He sending a voice note already?
It's a, yeah,
Okay, cool.
but this is a call.
All right, cool.
It's live, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, good night.
Good night.
Hello?
Hello, good night. Can you hear us? I'm not too sure if you're hearing us.
Mr. Spectacular, that's your first name?
Specular.
Specular.
Oh, it's spectacular.
Specular Effect.
Spectacular is better.
He's telling him how to name himself.
You good, man? Let us know.
While they are working on that, Kieran Ryan says, great to see the love this gentleman has for his mother and family.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me see.
Yes.
I guess to you, Sadiq, it's natural.
Okay.
What I mean is, you can't, what else
Let
am I
me
to
say
do but
good
help
night.
my mom and
I think what really fueled me really saying, look, I am going to drop school and help mom was seeing the adverse effect. We didn't have much, and it was just always the two of us.
Yeah.
And I saw, no, this is literal.
Yeah.
I saw my mother make $7 feed us for a week.
wow,
I saw my mother do that.
you're not that old, so how is that possible? If you was like,
Smoke herring and dal.
That's what you eat.
We had
that's
yam
pretty good
in the
food,
yard,
right?
we
That's
had
pretty good
cassava.
food right there.
We had yam and cassava.
I would
And
eat
I
that every
ate
day.
yam, cassava, smoke herring, and dal for an entire week from $7. And smoke herring, you could have gotten a smoke
Yeah,
herring
it was much
sizable
cheaper
from like
a long
$1.
time. Yeah.
So it was a lot cheaper now. Like smoke herring
Then,
is
yeah.
Mr. Smoke herring. You had to pay for a seat for smoke herring in a taxi now.
smoke herring now.
But smoke herring now, I can't afford. Well, I can, but I can't afford smoke herring now.
You can, but you can't.
Yeah, but I would
You choose
choose
not
not to buy smoke herring now.
Right.
You know.
Tell me
That'd be
that.
smoking to eat that. Man,
I
you're good.
saw my mother literally do the 2 loaves of bread and 3 fishes thing.
That's what I was going to tell you.
I
The
saw my
miracle
mother
came
do
to
that.
mind.
Yeah, I saw my mother do that
Whoa.
countless times.
Sis.
And I saw my mother leave herself undone before me. And teachers in PTA meetings in school used to tell my mom that I am a young boy with a grown mind because I didn't grow intelligent. I was this way from small.
Yeah.
So naturally I was excluded from a lot of cool things in life because I didn't think like everybody else.
Yeah.
So I knew at that point, if it was me in that situation, my mother would swim to heaven to help me.
She went to a great place, but
She would find it.
Yeah.
She would find Narnia to get that lion
Brother, we
to
say
help
heaven
me.
now.
She would literally do what everybody else would say is impossible just
Yeah.
to help me. And if my mother can do that in the instance where I can repay her for one deed, that would have to suffice. And that had to suffice.
Seemed like she had some kind of divine intervention with some, supernatural help, but yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So we had a question from Stephen O.S. He says, where were you before you were born? Let me
Sorry,
see.
what?
We
Where were
also
you
have
before
some
you were
voice
born?
notes.
On
We
board.
have some voice notes.
Probably in a suppletion pack.
It's in a suppletion van.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm
board.
not really sure. I'm not sure.
Alright, so we have a voice note from Lyndon Mack.
I'm sure you're in the heart of God. That's the true answer.
First, let me just say good show again, guys.
Hey, good. Shucks.
The question, does God exist?
This is the same
The
point
reality
we
is
did
you are
already.
going to find
Yes.
this question is going to bring
Exactly
about
the
two
same.
major
Trust me.
principles. You're
Yeah, we did-
discussing basically faith
Yeah, we did
versus
this. Yeah, we did this
scientific
already.
Yeah.
data
Maybe you
and
resend it or
evidence.
something.
Stop it.
Stop it.
I don't know
Yeah.
if it was recent or if
Yeah, maybe the
we
person
played
resent
it
it.
again in Arab.
Nah.
Um,
Unless he can remember every word. He write that down and read it over.
Okay, but let me get to my giveaway because this is my segment to give away stuff, right?
Wait, sorry, I mean the cut when you call in the person come.
We are trying to.
Alright, cool, no problem. Alright, go ahead. You can, what you can do is tell if maybe the calling being interrupted, maybe you can send another voice note if you could.
Yes. So I believe it is Specular Effect. That's the person I was trying to call, right? So unfortunately, for some reason, we are not able to actually connect and hear your call. So my recommendation to you would be to send a voice note. I do apologize though, but yeah, at this point, we really actually want to hear what you have to say, whether it be a question or your input. So feel free to send us a voice note, all right? And my giveaway, Randall Rodney. You are the winner of my Starbucks voucher.
Yay.
Congratulations to you, Randall.
Well, you have a prize for you.
Let me see. So y'all can continue to send in your comments. Let me see. Right. Alright, y'all can continue to send in your comments. Let me just go all the way down to see if there's anything I could throw in right now. Yes, but unfortunately we are not. I'm seeing that you said we answered on your idea, but unfortunately we are not able to hear you. So if you can send a voice note, please do so. We actually really want to hear what you have to say, whether, like I said, whether it be a question or your personal input. Alright, alright, so we can go back to Kyle now.
I think Luke
Yeah?
is not with us.
Not anymore.
Yeah, because we're having some technical
and the
difficulties.
person trying to call.
Yeah, and well, yeah, so it have some
Maybe Luke could send a voice note.
Yeah, that's
as
what he
well.
said. Yeah, both of them. Anyone you want to do. And also, Luke told me before if it is, he'll be on the comments. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll make some comments going on further, right? As we move on, I guess one of the questions we have is, what do you believe happens when you die? But you kind of answer that already. I
Kinda
believe.
answered.
Yeah, we have like a deeper thing like that or something you want to answer. I don't know.
No, actually, I've mainly, and I don't have a deeper answer because I've never given it thought. I am a person that lives in the now. I have forethoughts, but mainly because I cannot plan what happens after I die. I just try to make the best of now. So
Okay.
I'm here, and I will be the best human that I can be without being taken advantage of until I die. And I don't have an answer for what I think happens after I die. I have a funeral. That's it.
But if you, like to me, right? I don't like hard work. If nothing happening after here, why go to school and learn times tables and do degree and all this? Why not just get a hammock, plant trees, or live amongst trees or something? Just relax. That's just me. I just wonder why go through all these things. Like, what's your motivation for going through life?
My motivation is just being able to bring smiles and a genuine feeling of belonging to people that I encounter.
Okay.
I said I'm passionate about music,
Yeah.
right? The music
play
that I
instrument
write,
or something?
I play steel pan.
Okay.
That was the music program through UTT. It was a steel pan program.
Okay, okay.
So
Could I bring
play
a
steel
pan? But anyhow.
That's right. I play steel pan. I'm actually a stereotypical Trinidadian rapper.
Okay.
So
Bust a
Yeah.
thing there. Freestyle.
Nah.
Don't do the man there. Don't do the man there. Remember the video with the man? Years ago. Years ago.
Mainly because I really didn't have that. I didn't intend to like reveal that. I'm not prepared.
Oh God, I wanted you.
I have the music I create. I decide to create a music that can always teach something.
Okay.
So it's good, but it's not going to just be designed to be the new hip thing. It's going to be designed for somebody to speak about it when they hear it afterwards, and everybody else, right?
Okay.
And I tried my hand at comedy. Comedy is cool. I have a friend. His name is Kes Ramsey. He's actually a famous
Actually, no, me came
Facebook
sometime,
comedian.
yeah.
Right.
That's following.
This is a very close personal friend of mine, right? And
His brother came through as well.
Karen Ramsey,
yeah.
right? Karen Ramsey is a really good artist. He can sing a lot.
He was on the same
So,
show as well.
I know them. I know them. Right? So, yeah, I know them. Yeah.
Wow.
So I tried my hand at comedy, but I never really got to do anything on a bigger stage with it.
It's just interesting comedy, seeing that you experience things that could actually make you sad in life. That you.
I think that is why I make people laugh as easily as I do, is because I understand sadness.
Yeah.
So I know and value more how good it is to laugh.
Yeah.
I like comedy too.
So it's really easy, right? It's really easy. I don't have to use a joke all the time to make people laugh. And it just helps interact with people. It helps interactions. It helps make interactions easier. It helps me just feel like, okay, I went through that before, but I'm here now. And me being here now feels better than when I was at that place.
It's true, I understand.
So
that,
it leaves me in a position where I won't dwell on the negative that happened previously.
Okay.
And that is why I do what I do. I help people, I talk, but naturally people that see me don't walk up to me and be like, hi, because I don't have that face.
It's true. I was shocked when you said you went to comedy.
Answer that. So much for clearing that.
You are not his family.
No, I'm not his family, but we just really
You
cool.
have a resemblance of the brother.
You find
Karen?
Yeah.
Oh, Kes?
Yeah.
No, we're brothers by choice. We're not
Oh, okay.
brothers.
Something
by
about him
relation.
feels actually-
you in the roti gang?
Yes.
Okay.
Roti will and is always like that's
So-
an absolute truth.
Yeah, it's absolute truth, guys.
That will always be like. But yeah, back to the question, the digress. Why do I go about trying to be a better person? Because I would like to just be a better
You'd like to
person.
be happy, yeah. Well, yeah.
And not just me being happy,
Yeah.
me being able to reflect and project my happiness onto somebody else, because I never know what people would be going through. Like, nobody would have known my story just by looking at me.
Yeah.
Probably would have assumed it, but nobody would have looked
like,
at me and
that's
been like,
it,
yo, this guy
working, you know?
seems to have some things going on, right?
Yeah.
So just being kind and giving a lot of people laughs. I've been told, yo, thanks for that laugh. I really didn't laugh like that in a while. And that's good enough for me.
So, I know the conflict, right, bro? What I mean by that is everything you're saying is that you're saying you want to bring meaning to people's life.
Yeah.
But if it is you're saying life have no meaning.
I never said like
No, what I mean is, what I mean, the definition of atheism is actually life have no meaning. What it means is that we appear on the earth, we die and gone.
Okay.
You understand? It means, what's the point of actually, you catch up, you're trying to give things meaning, which is good. I'm not saying there's something bad, right? Which means, so here's my question to you then, right? We're moving on, right? I want to ask you actually believe Jesus was a real person. History proves that he is actually a real person that existed outside of the Bible, right? Roman people wrote about him, you know, so there's evidence that, because, I mean, I know when many people hear the Bible, they tend to think it's a book.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's just one book, but what they realize is actually a historical book, where it means that the book of Isaiah existed years before the book of John existed.
Okay.
But what the book of John written about the coming of a savior. And there's actually something historically evidence that, you know, point to certain facts, right? So many times when they say the Bible itself and history, the Bible itself is history. What it means is that there was a period of time when these books, the New, where you might know about the New Testament and the Old Testament, right? Where the Old Testament was what it was, but the Jews would hold on to that.
Right.
And then also, there are Jews that don't believe in Jesus as their savior, but they will also state that he was a real person.
Okay.
So if Jesus was a real person who walked the face of the earth, right? And he would say, and the historical documents state said all these things about life and, about meaningful things, about love your neighbor as you love yourself, all these different things, right? Where he explained, right? And then he also explained he came here for a purpose. His purpose was he came to redeem us from evil, if you want to call it that, right? Because what happened in the beginning, according to Jesus and his words, he said that there was a fall, that God gave us free will, because let me go back to the default, right? We have a free will, and we had to make a choice. That's how love works, right? You can't lock up a woman in a room and say, love me. She had her own free will decide, yeah, but you know what I mean? It wouldn't be love, it would be something forced.
Yeah.
You catch where I'm coming from, right?
I just agree. We need to make sure we understand that.
Yeah, it's it's a choice she will have to make, right? To love somebody. If she had to do it by arranged marriages, sometimes people don't love each other, right? They just do because But if you love somebody, it's a choice that they make, right? But in making a choice, that is where the possibility of evil comes in. It means like where the guy who maybe hurt your mom, if he was just programmed to just do the right things, that would never happen. But the reason why he's not programmed that way is because he was designed to actually have a choice, to have, in free will, in other words, right? They could actually choose, and he actually chose the wrong path, if you want to call it that, right? He turned to Darth Vader, right? He chose the wrong path, the dark side, right? So, but the reality is this, right? So if Jesus was a real person, and he saw the need for something that's greater than this in our life, so I'll give you maybe a bigger thing, like maybe I ask you, do you see by nature that as much as messed up the world is, do you think man by default actually have maybe a default where we tend to maybe do things wrong, that maybe we don't want to do, even though we know we shouldn't do it? Like I'll give you an example. Some people might want to, they know they shouldn't be sleeping around with people, women.
Right.
But somehow they tend to do that, even though they know it wrong. You understand? So what point is that you would see in human beings, they have this tendency to maybe choose evil, even though they know at times that something inside of them doing it wrong. You get where I'm coming from? Right? Would you say that maybe all humans like that, where you don't want to lie, but you end up lying?
Yeah, I think but it's based on a choice, as you said.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is,
how come everybody ends up making that choice? Sometimes, from the time you're 2-3 years old, you start to talk and walk, you always gravitate towards being naughty.
Don't do this.
Somebody always have to tell you, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. All human beings somehow tend to go that way from infants.
The question is why do I think? I think it's based on curiosity, because as a young baby, as a kid, there's a lot you don't know.
Right.
So we would tell you, don't take the mentholated spirit and squeeze it in your nose, because we know what is going to happen when you squeeze mentholated spirits in your nose.
Right.
But you don't know. You trying to find out, and that's curiosity. So I don't think it's a lot of things that people do. Sometimes, if we're looking at children, a lot of things children do is based off of them being ignorant.
Yeah, no,
Not a choice to be bad.
Have you in your own life, right? This is a personal question. Have you ever within your own self said, I don't want to do this thing because I know it's wrong, but you end up still doing it? There's a situation like that? When it comes to a girlfriend, when it comes to anything, like you don't want to end up doing this, so it means within your own self, even though you have a free will, there was something within you still make you. So if you catch it, because see, that's a contradiction in itself, right?
Yes,
you said, I don't want to do this, and within myself, I don't want to make that choice, but you end up still making the choice. So it means there's something within us that is greater than our free will.
Okay.
You catch what I remember? There's something that is greater within us, is actually called human nature. That's what we're trying to say, is within all of us, that we have this part of our life where we make decisions that's not based upon even morality. You can remember, that's why many times people say, well, look, all these Christians believe this, well, look, they end up doing this, right? So, to just give you a backstory on what we believe, right? We believe Jesus came from, there's a reason why he was born from not a man, right? It's because that effect happened where you have a child now, and the same thing will happen to your daughter. At some point in her life, she don't want to do something, and she could end up doing anything that she don't want to do, right? That's within all humans, right? So one thing Jesus came to do, why he was born of a virgin, is that he did not come from the lineage of how we progress in life. He came from a lineage that where it was pure and where it was divine, where it was not defiled, I would say, right? So if we would see out through history, you would see even all dignities or everything, right? We want to call them, right? Like Muhammad, everybody, right? all of them did things wrong. But even in, let's say, the Quran or everybody else, they would realize Jesus is somebody who actually never did something wrong. As a matter of fact, they would try to trap him many times in our conversation to give him a wrong answer. Like when they were talking with Caesar, he said, which one better to pay, taxes? And then Jesus looked at him and said, hey, who face up on the coin? And they said Caesar. He said, well, give unto Caesar belong to Caesar, and give unto God belong to God. So they would always try to trap him into a place where they want him to do something wrong. It reached a point where the Bible actually explains they hated him without a cause. It means when they looked at his life, there's no reason for you to actually hate this man. We all by default, we did something, maybe hurt somebody or did something wrong. Right. But within himself, he actually never did that towards nobody. But the penalty ended up happening was that the evil that we demonstrated, what was his subjection is that he chose to suffer for us. The reason that is goes on to the state of morality. So when it comes to religion, there's my thing with you, right? I grew up the same way like you, maybe in a Catholic background, maybe where you grew up in, maybe a Catholic or Anglican.
It was, I think it was Baptist.
Baptist? Okay, spiritual Baptist, right. So I grew up from a background where you're in religion. And it came to a point in life where I would say I don't necessarily not believe in God, but this thing not making sense. You can try where everything they say now I'm doing, and not really being affected in my life. So I went on and lived life. Right. But then what ended up happening, living life, I had experiences that, like you just said, was contradictory to my life. Where things I didn't want to do, it ended up happening. So what ended up happening is, what Jesus did was all the evil that I did. Because think about it, if somebody is to murder somebody, right? Like go back to morals and values, right? If somebody murders somebody, no matter what happen, let's say somebody murder your daughter, nothing could change the fact that something, sorry to mention it like that, right? But if something like that was to happen, right? And nothing that person could do could ever replace your child?
No.
Because there's a value you put on your child that is actually beyond even human beings. What I mean is, we all know human beings are different. You know, so even if you even have another child, it will never actually replace your actual child.
No, it won't.
So you see a uniqueness there even by design, right? That we all have a fingerprint that is totally different. So we all have a unique identity within ourselves. Yeah? And we put a value on our child. So imagine now somebody does that. Nothing could ever replace that. You know, nothing anybody can do. They could come and beg you for forgiveness. Even though you forgive the person, it will never change the fact that you're missing your daughter.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from, right? In the same way, the answer for sin in our life, where it's called evil, nothing we could actually do can make up for the bad things we did in our life. You understand? The things that how we hurt our parents, how we did things wrong, like maybe you say, like say if your mother was to call you an idiot, and you know as children that could damage us growing up. Nothing they could do or say could actually change that. You get where I'm coming from, right? That's how this is what happened to our life. Sin happened, evil happened, right? What ended up Jesus happening, what was his role in life, was that he actually came to take the place of the punishment that we actually deserve.
Okay.
So where like I said, so maybe, I don't know what's your feelings towards that guy, maybe I don't know if you say hate him, or I don't know who did your mom that, right? I don't know. I'm not saying that you do, right? But would you agree that nothing he could ever do could ever replace the fact that he did that to your mom?
I think he got just desserts.
Right. Yeah. Desserts?
Yeah, he got just desserts. He got it was swift. It was swift.
Expanded.
No, he was he was, but it was more like martial law.
Okay. So even beyond
yeah.
that, right? He can never
I actually interested what he's saying this.
City, hold up. Martial law.
Yeah,
wait a minute, like double them?
At the hands of who?
Of myself.
What?
Yeah. Now, remember I said there's nobody that I expect to see specific things happening to your parents and you not doing anything at that point in time.
I know what you're saying, but...
So, yeah, I after, when I saw what happened, I just told you all what happened, what he did. I didn't say what
you did
after that.
Right.
You make me sit up, boy.
Yeah, that was all.
Let's not say it online.
Yeah, that was all.
We'll talk after.
It was okay.
Boy.
Yeah?
It was okay.
So that happened, right? But even to the point that happening, it didn't replace anything with your mom.
No, it didn't.
Didn't make
You
it
understand?
better.
So it means that there's still an injustice that exists that even what you did couldn't fix.
Yeah.
So what Jesus came to actually do is to fix that eternal problem.
Okay.
So I catch where I'm coming from. If there's actually something that's truth, there's absolutes, there's something that exists, that he's a real being, and let's say he's a person that evil doesn't exist with him. I mean, in his, let's say there's a kingdom exists, and he does not allow that. The reason why he doesn't allow that is because he maybe have dominion there. But on earth, he gave us, we say we could do what we want, right? We have that choice because at the ultimate goal, if our being is full of power, he's full of might, he's full of wisdom, he's full of compassion, he's full of love. This is who created us, right? We realize all that within us, right? That is saying, right?
Right.
Would you agree his knowledge can never really change or affect how we actually love people? What I mean by that is that, right? You, by your own choice, you still have to make a decision. As much as intellect as somebody could be, no, you have to make a decision to sacrifice for your mom.
Yeah.
You understand? So no matter how high education, you're a young boy too, so it's not like somebody taught you that. So the only way actually God could ever actually relate to us is actually through love. It's the only platform that's built where we could actually understand God. Because if God was to actually sit down and explain, like you say in the unknown, we just accept the unknown, right? If he was to actually explain how he created the sun, it will just be beyond us. Because by definition, science come to a place where they say there's a beginning of something, right? They used to say the universe existed and it always existed, but that changed. Where they come now and they say there's a beginning. Whether that beginning was 1 billion years ago, they realize life has a beginning. The same way we have a beginning, they realize all of creation has a beginning. Imagine this person, this being who takes something from nothing and creates it into something. That's very hard for us to even grasp or fathom, right? Yeah. Right. So my point is this, right? His intellectual level is, or that being is beyond us. So my point is this, right? How we try to relate to us is actually through love. As a platform we could understand, a platform we could relate. We could demonstrate, we could feel. So it means that if somebody is not treating you out of love, you can know that without any intellect, without any power, without any wisdom, you could realize, whoa, this person is not demonstrating love towards me. I know that. Yeah. You understand? So how we did that was sending a son. And all the evil that we ever did to man, or what we accused God of, was done to him. As a matter of fact, he was on the cross and he said, they came up to him and said, you used to save so much of people. Why don't you save yourself? And the reason why he did that is if he'd saved himself, we would have to face the punishment we have done in life in the future. So I know you say you don't always the answer for afterlife, right? But it means that, think about it, there's so much meaning, there's so much eternity, there's so much love on this earth, there's so much intellect. Why when we die, that just go to nothing? Did we just nothing now? Or all this creation, all this design, all this, it means there's nothing? It means that what I'm trying to explain, right, is that there's an afterlife. There's something beyond us. There's something more than... So I don't think when you think of yourself, you think of yourself as a body. Now when you're dead, you just see dust. That's who you are?
I think of myself as a person. Yeah. And as with everything that has a start, it has a stop. Yeah. So when I die, that is the stop. Right. That's just what I believe. That's
what you believe, that you just stop with that, right? So within our life, we believe that there's a supernatural. That there's somebody who intervened in this, who created us, and who designed us a certain way. And how he chose to relate to us was through love. And he sent his son that we would actually have that placement. We see it in the law of life, right? Where we see it that we want judgment, we want justice, we want all these things for our life. And even so that we know the wrong we did. So where religion might just tell you need to pray, you need to do this, you need to give, you need to do this, and God will forgive you, that actually don't line up with love. Because we know that violating all what we stand for as human beings. We know that, watch me, if somebody do me something wrong, that's not adding up. I actually that not adding up with where we say we love each other. Right. So what Jesus came to do is replace the place. So here's my question I have for you, right? And we're coming down to our close, right? Okay. And I don't know why it is. Maybe you made a decision deep where, like maybe your mom say that she maybe grew closer to Jesus. Okay? And then maybe in your own life, maybe you drew further away from him. I don't know if I can't necessarily say you grew further away from him, because then you would have to say about us having a relationship with somebody that didn't exist.
Well, remember I said I did grow knowing him. Well, I did grow believing in him. Yeah. So I would say I grew further away from him until like I would have gotten research, or I'd have dabbled and tried to find out if what I'm feeling can be explained. Mm-hmm. And when I realized there isn't as specular effects, the lack of proof is the proof that something may not exist. Mm-hmm. I didn't have the proof to say, yeah, God exists. So I started to see if there was proof that he doesn't, and there's neither. So then I decided to chalk it up to a choice. That it's a choice for a person to believe that God exists or not based on what they experience. Right. So it's not that I don't have faith, or I didn't have faith, or I never believed.
Like, I actually supposed to be wearing glasses right now, and I am. Well, when I became a believer in God, they said, you know, it was said that Jesus died for my healing. So I said, well, Jesus, you died for my healing. I wear glasses. I looking like a nerd. So I don't want to wear it no more. I want to look cool.
Right.
So you heal my eyes just for me to look cool, and actually God healed my eyes, and I wanted it just to not wear glasses, and He actually did it, and I have seen God actually heal. Well, my sister brought a friend with a tumor in a very intimate place,
Right.
that she was actually selling barbecue one thing for to raise funds to do a surgery to remove it.
Right.
And she came a service actually in this sanctuary here, got prayer, check, tumor gone, spend the money. She went splurging with her sister in the mall and all kind of thing. She's not even a real believer like that. She just received that healing, and I would just ask you, how you explain those things like supernatural healing? Because to me, that is one of the evidence that God is real.
I don't think I could explain something that happened
So beyond.
beyond the regular explanation. What I will draw an example to is, let's look at your psyche, right? People will say, let's say I'm schizophrenic, but nobody here knows that I'm schizophrenic, right? I have seen a schizophrenic person reveal a different personality, and to religious people, it was deemed that this person is possessed. And they would have tried to pray for this girl and try to heal her, when in fact it's not a demon that's possessing her. She's schizophrenic. So the behavior that she's generating or that she's demonstrating is not of a supernatural nature. It's of an illness.
So what about when they have supernatural strength? You ever seen that? With the same situation you're talking
with
about.
supernatural strength?
Praying, like you pray for somebody and you say like, people say it's a demon. We've encountered that where the person actually had supernatural strength as well. More than one little female, 5 men cannot contain her.
I believe in an instance where a threat is deemed on the body, the pituitary gland would create adrenaline, and adrenaline will make you stronger.
So how come you don't have a strong man walking around the place lifting up cans?
No, well, that's based on the point in time.
But they're threats all the time. I mean, I'm talking, you know, how is praying for somebody though a threat though?
No, if I am in a forum where somebody or people are trying to restrain me,
No,
and I
we
don't
weren't trying
want
to
be
restrain
restrained,
her. We were praying for her, and we were saying, speaking to certain things in her life, rebuking certain things. We weren't even touching her. We were saying in the name of Jesus, because she came to us for help. We didn't say, hey, you need help. She realized something was wrong, and when praying for her, as you just described, sometimes another person might speak in another voice, something manifests, which we know is a demonic being. You are saying it's not, and at that time, that person has supernatural strength. We not, they're the ones harming us, pitching us, and throwing us. We not, you know what I mean? It's not like we threatening them. And you look back and you say, there's no way this person could have physically. There's no way this person could do this
Do you believe
in
in supernatural?
themselves.
I believe it has some things that may not be easily explained.
So the buck.
Have you ever seen or experienced something supernatural? Conrad grew up in like Baptist religion, and there may be something maybe we saw that as unexplainable or something. Because I mean, it was like what,
I've
13 or
experienced
something.
that was inexplicable. Did I chalk it up to supernatural? A part of me wanted to, but other part of me was literally just saying I was really lucky that it turned out that way.
It just make no sense to
It really did not make any sense what happened.
Right.
Like I've never been fat. I've never been fat. So all my clothes usually fit me properly, right? And I was shot at. And these bullets went through the jersey and didn't touch me.
Right.
3 of them.
Shot at.
I was shot at.
What
I
you
was
mean
shot
it went through your jersey and didn't hit you?
The sides of my t-shirt.
What?
The sides of my t-shirt. To the
bullet
hem,
passed through the side of your
the
t-shirt?
sides of the t-shirt and didn't touch me.
So you experience supernatural things.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't know why they're saying that. It's not normal.
I've never been a person, a big person. So I've usually worn small clothing because I'm a small.
So let's say the Jesus was like that?
So, no, it wasn't like this.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like this. This is different. This is a sweater.
Oh,
It was a t-shirt. So
You willing to pray for me?
It was slightly loosely. No, we can laugh at this now, but when it happened, I couldn't
was baffled.
explain
Yeah.
what happened. Right, because all I know was I was running in the opposite direction from where the shots were coming from, and I did not know that any of them even touched my clothing. So it's after I ended up in the and these people were trying to kill me because they tried to rob me, and I defended myself. And that's when one pulled a gun, and I realized watermelon flour, book it. And when I started to book it, that was when they shot behind me because they literally said they were going to kill me because I saw their faces defending them. I pulled not mask, but it was a bandana. And I pulled it off. So I saw their faces, so they were going to kill me.
Right.
And I ran.
Wow.
And I got away. So when I was in the police station, the police did almost the same thing. They were in disbelief because they were they're police, so they know what a bullet hole looks like. And when I had when I took my jersey and they examined it, these are bullet holes. And you are not a big person. So this jersey is not a big jersey. This is not.
So you can't just go through just like
So
that.
it's not going to just go through you just like that. So I don't know how lucky you are. They asked me if I had a 4-leaf clover. I didn't. But
It was a bit short then or something? Anyway, go ahead.
I have no idea. I didn't even have green, so I couldn't even be a leprechaun.
Oh, okay,
But
okay.
Listen,
it wasn't
you could
even-
say what you want, Sadiq.
It was-
God is the one who kept you. You have your life for purpose.
So here's
That's
the big picture I wanted to
supernatural.
ask you to go down to, right? I know we got to a place where you say you do believe in God, but would you be willing to maybe pray again and believe that if there is really a God, to reveal himself there? Not to do something for you. We be willing to say, well, maybe if there is a God in heaven
That
who created me,
That
who,
you get
But
evidence.
I mean, that bullet thing though.
That's not enough for you.
It was real.
so you catch where I'm coming from. And if
That's
they
totally
true,
it.
I'm trying to get from the emotional side of it because, like you would agree, bad things happen to all people. And if you're to go into
more
a deeper
evidence you want.
explanation, we have free will, different things. But beyond that, I'm asking you within your own personal life. If you were to say, well, God, this is how I feel, this is what I think, this is everything that happened to me, would you be willing to take a chance to say, well, if you are real, reveal yourself to me? I'm not asking you to actually do it here or anything, right?
No.
I'm asking you in your heart if there's a choice you may be willing to make. Because from hearing your story to you, even to us, it's not making sense. You get where I'm coming from, right?
Things not
Your
adding
life
up.
itself don't make sense. What catch you come from? You see supernatural things happen to you, you see love, you know what love is, but something bad happened and you didn't see an answer being revealed, right?
That just to put a point, that whole robbery being shot at thing happened before my mom got injured. So this happened at a time when I believed that there is God, that God is real. That is when that happened.
Amen.
After that, then everything was
has
questioned
happened.
afterwards.
All right. So my question is this: would you be willing?
It's a little bad man at 16, 15.
I'm
Just
open-minded.
little bad.
You be open. I'm not asking that genuine question from your heart. I'm not asking you to actually do it here, but in your own personal life, would you be willing to say Jesus if you're real? Now, the reason why I'm using specific terms, right? Because I'm basing things upon love. What I mean is, you say me, you love your daughter, you love your child. If you believe there's a God in heaven that actually loved me and who is there for me, maybe I don't have all the answers. If it is you're willing to reveal yourself to me, would you think in your heart you'd be willing to do something like that?
Yeah. I'd be willing to try again.
Because I hear this, why I say try again, right? I think all of us can testify to this, right? There's a verse in the Bible that explains this. It's not that we love God, but He loved us. And there are some things in your life that's unexplainable. And what I mean by this, right? Love does that. Even in a relationship, when you're in a relationship, you do things that other party might be able to see or be able to understand in the moment in time.
Right.
You understand? But as you grow closer to the person gets... So when people say faith and it's something blind, that is not actually the word meaning in the Bible. Eh? The Bible word for faith is actually trust. Okay. It's trust on evidence that exists. So it means that at some point in time, so you catch where I'm coming from. The Bible laws is actually based on love. So as much as this being is intelligent, he's all good, he's all knowing, he's all these different things, right? What he wants us to do is to trust him. Because imagine you meet the perfect girl. She beautiful, she smart, she can cook, she can do everything. At some point in time, it doesn't matter all of that. At some point in time, you actually have to trust her.
Yeah.
You would trust her that she'd be a good mom, she'd love her, she'd be there for your family. At some point in time, that is where it will all break down to a trust element of love.
Yeah.
And hence the reason how God relates to us is on a trust element. So when people say faith, you gotta have faith in a blind thing, that is not true. You get where I'm coming from, right? What the word faith actually means is actually, would you trust me? Even though in my life might be going on, there's evil things happening, there's all these things happening in your life, would you trust that at the end I have a better life for you? Because just like in your life, right, there was a bad season in your life and things turn around, where now maybe that is not your life. Do you think things could actually get better?
I believe I don't stand to lose anything if I try.
Yeah.
So
No, I mean like
I'll
things
try.
then naturally could get better. Like maybe because you had
yeah,
a rough
yeah.
beginning.
Yeah,
She's
things can
trying
get
to shoot at you this and then so in other words, what I would say to you is I know for you a fact you don't want nothing happening in your life to happen to your daughter.
no.
You get where I'm coming from, right? So in other words, you would like to have a better life, not just for you, but for your generations. Where you have a child. So it means that would like to believe that if there's really somebody who loved me, that maybe I could have a better part, because there's another part of the story and I explain, which is that because there's evil and there's good and there's free choice, we must choose a path. Life could just happen to people, and also we could just demonstrate. So God, there's a verse in the Bible that explains this. I set before you life and death, blessings and cursing. He told us to choose life, that you and your family will live. It's like the law of gravity. No matter what you explain, if something goes up, it's gonna come down. If it drops, something gonna come down. Even so, in the kingdom of heaven, that's how things are. Love is something that's demonstrated. You must be able to receive it. You get where I'm coming from, and that's how love works. Even though God exists and He's a real person, He's a real being, at some point in time, I call out once that the science and facts and belief. Remember the thing, right? It all comes down to a point in time when somebody must make a choice to trust somebody. You must be able to say, well, all right, boy, I get shoot at, and this thing happened, and this happened in my life, and I see, well, Lord, something pulled through my mom, and things can have a child, and at some point in time, you must come to a place like that. Am I going to choose to trust that life has no meaning? Or I just, this why all these things happen in my life and I have no meaning. At some point in time, you have to make a choice to choose to say, wait, maybe there's a purpose for my life, and there's a being who loves me. Bad happened to me, or maybe there's more to my life than I know. And at some point in time, you have to make a choice where you say, I would choose to trust that. Because trust me, if it is you choose to choose another path, you saw what that other path could be like.
Yeah.
A life without meaning, a life without love, a life without no purpose, you realize what that could end up to, where a man could shoot a man, kill a man, like when Mark said, and it have no meaning, and you realize, whoa, this life don't make sense. You catch where I'm coming from, right? That life do actually make sense. So it's nice to have you on the show. We're going on to the segment, and then after we just wrap up, right? We like to look for calling in as well. Yeah?
Hey, very good. We just chatted here.
Yeah. So let me hear what is going on there, Eva, and then we coming back and we closing off.
All right.
It's
So
like 9:50.
in defense of all the people commenting, guys, you're gonna have to give me a few minutes here. So we have some voice notes, a few voice notes, that I believe really wants to be heard. So let me start with some specular effects. All right. So we ready with the voice notes, or should I go with the comments?
I called in countless of times. I got through once,
Okay.
but whatever. It's of no consequence. That guy that you guys have on the panel that claims to be an atheist, he's not an atheist at all.
He's what?
I am a member of a very prolific atheist group called the Florida Atheists and Secular Humanists. And I'll tell you, I've interacted with and I've met hundreds of atheists. And they will never tell you that they became an atheist because they were hurt or of some sort of emotional scarring. But rather, it's about an intellectual pursuit. I'm an atheist, and I'll tell you right now that I got there based on intellectual pursuit and nothing else. Okay, so I have to question this guy that you guys have here that claims to be an atheist, because he's a terrible representation of atheism, or an atheist. He's just angry at God, and
Agnostic.
I guess it kind of speaks to the dishonesty of the panel and the show itself. Thank you.
His name?
Specular effect.
Specular effect.
Specular. If you were trying to convince me to be an atheist, you are doing a terrible job. And sir, you're not very welcome.
Bro, remember, if you watch the beginning of the show, he never said that. We asked him what his stance was. Luke was the other person who would say, so we went on to different conversations. So I know we like to maybe jump to conclusions, maybe with that, right? So
He
I
never said
know you want to
anything.
pursue intelligence, but I encourage you to. He never said, you never said,
No,
he never said that.
I said I was an atheist.
Yeah, he never said
never
he
said
was.
that.
Yeah, he actually gave his stance in the beginning that you
Yeah,
know, he
my
believes.
stance would most likely be more of an agnostic perspective.
Yeah.
If you would have gotten the impression that I am definitely an atheist, then I'm sorry for both you and myself. But I never said that I'm an atheist, and I'm not trying to misrepresent anything. I am here to give my point of view on why I have a belief or why I have things in my head the way that they are, and that's what I try to give.
Yeah.
I'm not here as a representative or a mouthpiece towards other people that may
you
share
belong in
the
a
same.
group.
Yeah, I'm not in the, what was the group? I'm not in
I
that.
can't remember
I
the
didn't
name.
hear it.
I didn't. I can't remember.
It was
It was a little muffled. Sorry.
Yeah,
It's
it
just-
was.
yeah.
It was slightly muffled, but I'm not a member of any atheist group, and I don't identify as such. As
And
I said,
just to hell, we actually don't know him. We know this is the first time we actually
this
met.
is,
So
I've never even heard of the show before,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
that's all right,
But
man.
I do like the fact that I'm here now to
Yeah.
give a piece to anybody that may have been through anything similar or has the same thought process currently going through their mind and questioning if they believe in anything else. But I'm not trying to influence anybody to be like, yo, if you've been through
Right.
some dirt, you should not believe in Christ. That is
No, but that's
not
evident
what I'm
because, like we
yeah.
explained, your mom have a different experience. You have a different
like,
experience. That's your part.
definitely
You know
not
what I mean?
want.
Yeah.
This is just what I went through, and this is my perspective on it.
I could like move on. That's like a false accusation. But continue.
All right, so we had a question from Kirk Chimbo. This is directed to you. Okay, so I have a question for your guest. Does he believe that all life on Earth happened by accident? And if so, where is scientific proof of his accident?
Do I believe all life on Earth happened by accident? No. I believe that there are things that I can't explain. That's what I'll start with. What I lead with is that there are things that I cannot explain. So if you're looking, your question seems to be prodding at me saying where life came from, and I cannot do that.
Right.
So what I will say is, let's say something organic decays, right? Let's look at a corpse, an animal, a cow. A cow dies in the field. It begins to rot. Inside of that cow, before it was dead, there was nothing alive. The cow was actually alive. But when the cow dies and it decays, the flesh then becomes maggots or worms. It creates something. I don't know how that happens, but it happens. So I don't think everything happened by accident. I just think that there is an explanation for it. But me accepting that it was done by somebody putting it the way it is difficult for me to accept. That's my answer.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We have Dale Fornelia. He says, in many of the debates I've seen on YouTube between Christian and atheists on the existence of God, the atheist admits that absolutely no evidence will convince them that God exists. Their goal is not to follow where the evidence leads, but to spread deception. And that was from Dale Fornelia. We have from Crystal Henry. How does he define being the best person he can be? In what way? I think this probably would have been directed to earlier on.
Yeah. Being the best person, I think everybody, when you do something, you feel a type of way.
Yeah.
So if you do something good, you feel a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
You feel good. If you do something bad, you'll be like, maybe I made a misjudgment here. So me being the best person that I can be is based on me doing something at any point in time that makes me feel good about myself. It may sound selfish, but it's not something that I am doing solely because of me. It's something that I am doing knowing that I could have done way differently, but I chose to do something that would benefit, if not both of us, the other person more.
All right, we have a comment here from Mark Suk. why drink water now if you can drink water in the future? Because now is what matters. One life is infinitely more meaningful and precious than living forever.
Okay.
So, specified.
That makes sense,
Okay,
but yeah.
cool. All right. Karen
The
Narayan.
afterlife.
I don't know, living
People
forever
say that
make
they
more
don't
sense
believe
than-
in an infinite God, in an infinite, all-knowing being called God, as they assume the title and claim infinite knowledge themselves. They know for sure there is no God. Yet the very word atheism means negative theism, which is an attempt to indeed prove a negative. A few truly scientific persons now represent themselves as agnostic. We have some more voice notes that we want to get in, and then I'll get back in some more comments. So we can go with the next voice note.
Good evening to everyone. First, let me just say good show again, guys.
Same guys, same
That's
voice.
the same voice.
The question.
This guy persistence.
It's not him,
I'm hearing a
it's the
conversation
voice.
where we are talking about the belief and whether God exists, whether God does not
This
exist.
is-
But the
Yes.
real question should really be
This is
how can a non-Christian who has never had an encounter with God prove that he exists? He simply can't. That's why God left his witnesses on the face of the earth, his 12 disciples, and he said to them, go and make disciples and baptize them. And
No, he didn't say that.
No, I don't.
No,
so
see,
is
they're
it that he
different.
asked a question that you all didn't answer?
No, a little different then. Maybe play it, because he was saying something about.
His voice song and the same somehow.
It is the same person.
It's the same person. but it's a
There are
different
few
person.
persons.
I continue and play.
the word of God and do the works that I have left you to do. But what you see happening today in many of the communities, many of the Christians themselves are selfish. Many of them are hypocritical. Many of them are not doing the work of God. How do you directly take the time to explain to a Christian and a non-believer and say, God exists? But you who are the Christians are not taking the time to meet the physical need of the brother and the sister who is in need. It's difficult. They can't know that directly that God exists if you are not out there in the communities helping that individual and showing them that love. Everybody talks about love, and just for scientific data, we could say love is about it's dopamine, it's all the chemistry involved. But where is the real action that's going out there to visit the brother in the jails, or giving food to the needy, or reaching the physical need? We could sit here and debate whole night that God exists, and you can try to take the time and reason it out with the brother who now does not have the belief because there was no Christian element to help him in his downfall. We could debate it all night. The reality is, unless Christians are really getting out there and really doing the action that Christ left for them as mandated by Matthew, then we could debate as much as we want. A person will never be able to believe that God exists if the Christians are not out there witnessing for him.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have any more voice notes?
He kind of had a good point. I understand what he was saying is that, let's take your situation.
Yeah.
If there was, let's say, a Christian person who came into your life at that point, who, let's say somebody came and said, hey, I heard what happened to your mom, I'm really so sorry. Hold on to $10,000. This should take you a few months. Or somebody actually came. So what he's saying is that if somebody actually came into your life who, let's say, was a Christian at that time, or somebody who just came with the love of God and actually helped you through the situation, things could have turned out a whole lot different.
I agree, actually.
Things could have, it kind of goes back, if you think about it, to man's free will. Because there are people who can't give you $10,000 with a blink,
Well,
So we blame the suffering of the world.
Are they here? Are they here?
I will point them out to you after. So we blame God for
Pretty far
everything.
right, I'm joking.
We blame God for everything, but I guess what he's saying is that really it's up to man, because I'm sure that you could have gotten help from somebody
I am sure I
who was
could have.
really representing
Yeah.
the love of God, So
Yeah.
I agree with what he said.
Are we going back to me?
Yeah, it's the voice notes and yeah.
I think that's what
Easy Rage. Most historians agree he existed, I hear, but still doesn't I hear, but still doesn't prove he is the Son of God.
Yes, I think it's hard to dispute the fact that Jesus did walk the earth. There's too much.
And I want to say,
real
sometimes people
history and
look for actually
evidence.
evidence of God and Jesus was a real
Yeah,
person. And,
that-
well, I mean, there's some point in time you had to try and figure out if we're going to just deny history and say, well, this person didn't exist.
Did
or,
he in fact raise from the dead? Did he in fact walk
Yeah.
out of the
a
tomb?
good show for you, a good documentary for you to watch, bro, is something called The Case for Christ. It's actually a guy with the same struggles, and he came to a point where he had to accept that history proves that there was a real person called Jesus.
Okay.
So his pursuit now is to figure out, whoa, if there's, I can't deny that. Beyond everything else, people look for some kind of evidence of God, right? If there was really a person called Jesus and he existed and there's history and it proves it, I maybe need to figure out a little more about that.
Okay.
You understand? Not necessary. If you understand, he didn't necessarily do research on like the Bible, and when he did the research on this historical fact of Jesus, and there's actually a book and a documentary about it, and there's actually something good you could watch if you were like. Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure how this name is pronounced, but I'm just going to read your comments to the panel. Atheism is a conclusion a person can come to about the existence or lack of existence of a God. I am an atheist not because I'm sure that a God doesn't exist, but I have a lack of a belief of any God or gods. In the same way, you too have a lack of belief in other gods.
I think that comment is the synopsis of this entire show today. That is exactly how I've come to where I am now. I have a lack of belief because of circumstances. So, am I trying to be a germ and spread that to anybody else? No, because I have a coworker. She's a brilliant human being, right? And she always tries to come and show me, just as you would have said if I'm willing to do it, show me that maybe, just maybe, my way of thinking and where I am now may not be correct or should not be solidified in stone, right? And this is a stranger that continuously tries to reach out to me, and for reasons of anonymity, I'm not going to call her name, but I really, really value the friendship that I have with her. And it's because she understands that I have a lack of belief, and I'm not trying to spread it to
Right.
anybody else.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to influence other people who may have the opposite to my belief and tell them, look, this what you believe in, not wrong, not right enough, because X, Y, and Z. Do you believe in God? Yes. Okay. Do I believe in God? No. Why? I choose not to say it, because then we'd get back to where we are right now, and it's not going to be conducive to anything progressive. So that comment is totally believable, that the person is not an atheist because there is absolutely no belief that God exists. They just have a lack of belief based on whatever they would have experienced, and that's my case.
But if I were to be really shallow here, which I'm not, and if I had to choose beliefs, the safer one would be to believe in God, because if I'm right, when I die, I go to heaven and I'm with God. But if I'm wrong, I'll just be dead, right?
Okay.
If you're wrong, it might be a little different, huh?
Yeah, it might be.
Yeah.
So if I had to choose, I'd choose Jesus.
The safer route.
I'll choose Jesus' way, because you said you don't know what happens after that. He made a whole plan for us. So in him, I have a surety of eternity.
Not only that, you can
So-
trust his words a little more too. He actually died and rose again.
Yeah.
So he know what happened after he died.
But you actually, other than that too, I mean, I will look at it that way, but if you see where he's lived, and he actually, his inheritance, Jesus, well, it are rich people on the earth and stuff, and the children this get through.
Right.
Well, Jesus actually, on the cross, he took our poorness, and he gave us his richness. So you actually have an inheritance to get as well. There's a lot of benefits. It's better than a life insurance, actually. So there's
But same way go back, it's a choice. That's a decision you had to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand.
All right. Kerwin Narayan says most noted historians believe that Jesus existed. It is interesting that some people are just throwing out statements with no regard for facts or truths.
I guess people are saying that history is, and that is actually not true. You know what I mean? It is
There's
history.
a
I'm
lot-
talking about any debate going on online
Yeah,
now. People
yeah,
must be
that's what I
saying
was
that
just about
the
to say.
statement are saying that Jesus is a real person. That's not facts. But they are not speaking facts. The historians prove that. Actually, there's no historian that would actually disagree that Jesus is not real.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
We have Stephen O.S. He says, sin is an imaginary disease designed to sell you an imaginary cure, most times for real money. Hashtag pay your tithes. Let's
So like,
see.
if somebody was to steal his car,
Small
would he
thing.
say sin is an
That's not
imaginary
sin.
disease because he can't have to imagine his car now?
Most likely, yes. Easy Rage. I thought God made an intelligent design. What are you talking about? Glasses and tumor. Now this is a question. And
I think that's directed to you.
I thought God made intelligent designs. What is he talking about? Glasses and tumor.
Oh, so you're wondering like if God designed everything intelligently, how is it that people need glasses and how people get tumors? Well, to be quick, God told Adam and Eve the day they sinned they would surely die, right? They didn't die one time, but they actually were dying and they didn't know. Because of sin, sickness and disease and all these different things enter the world, and it's actually through sickness and these different things, that's how we die, you know. And sin actually opened the door for this, and the reason why people have tumors and need to wear glasses is because we fell. We fell from how God created us, and our genes fell, our DNA, and that's how we have people who have, I have family who are actually mentally challenged and things, and I understand that is not God's will. And actually a lot of things that goes on in this world is not God's will. What happened in your life and in my life and different people's life is not God's will. You see, God's will is not fully being done on the earth. We have free choice, and that's how these things enter through sin.
That's everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that in natural life, right?
Yeah.
There's some things that happen to your daughter in the future that maybe might be your will for her. But certain choices she might make. You understand where I'm from? That's evident in everybody's situation. In the same way, in God's perspective, because it's love. I mean, everybody have a choice to make. But we're trying to wrap up. I know there's a lot of bits. You know, it's been like about 2 hours now, going on 2 hours. So we had to, you know.
More than 2 hours.
So I'm gonna get just like a few more comments in.
Yeah.
That will be it from me, guys. Valina says, good night to you, by the way. She says, only a fool says in his heart that there is no God. The evidence of God is in the breath that you breathe and the brain that you are using to contradict his existence. Let me see. Chrissy Meal, good night to you. He says, there is so much proof that God is real right here in this chat just by the angle being portrayed here.
Oh, in the chat, well, I can't wait to go home and read those comments.
Yeah, it's serious.
Yeah, get some popcorn.
There's some people will actually comment to people questions after, because obviously it's like a lot to.
Can't get all of them in, unfortunately. Valina Panak, to all atheists, I pray one day you will enter God in such a profound way that you will know without a doubt He is real and He loves you. Kerwin Narine, if human intelligence is a construct of mindless, unguided processes, are you sure you can't trust your brain? The fate of the atheist is truly blind. And this will be my last comment because it's one of my favorites. Valina Pinnock says, to the young man on the panel, my heart moves for you. I feel God is moving in your heart, and I know you can feel it too. God loves you like crazy.
Oh,
All right. All right. So thanks so much for your comments, guys. Unfortunately, I do apologize again for not being able to get that call in, those call-ins that were requested. Hopefully next time, if we ever have a show on this specific topic again, it will be different with that in that regard. Thanks so much for all of your comments, for your voice notes. Oh, I think I have one more giveaway.
Yes, you do.
Ooh, let me see. Who am I giving this to? I try not to call a name that I called. Diane Lewis, you are the winner of our Movie Tongue voucher. Congratulations to you.
Diane.
Yes, congratulations to you, Diane. So you'll see how awesome and easy that is, right? You just send a message, you just make a comment, and you get a giveaway. Well, a prize. Thanks again to all of you who commented and for your inputs. Thanks for your questions. It was a serious one. There was a lot of comments and back and forth chats. Unfortunately, I was not able to get everything in, but like Kyle said, they will respond to certain questions. Any direct questions that you all would have had, there will be responses to it, and you can always feel free to view the show. It's always here on our page, and if you enjoyed what you saw here today on YouTube, remember to subscribe, and on Facebook you all could click that little link, that little icon, I guess you could say, that gives you live notifications when we go live. All right, remember to continue to comment if you wish, Remember to share our page and like it if you enjoyed what you saw here tonight, all right? That's a wrap from me. I believe the panel will be closing up, but that's it from me. Good night to all of you and enjoy the rest of your night and weekend.
Hey.
Kyle?
Good night to everybody who was. I want to thank Luke again, my brother here on the show. Thanks for coming on.
Sure.
You know, we went a little long than expected because obviously there was, you know, that's a little, it's actually over an hour.
Yeah. So
but
they could comment and say if you want this to be the new time frame now.
We want to thank everybody for viewing because there was, you know, a lot of people still viewing and, you know, into the topic. And, you know, maybe next time we do our next show, maybe not now, maybe the future, not, you know, not today.
Yeah.
Maybe the future, and he'll be coming back and telling us about how much he loved Jesus, and you know, so you want to thank everybody for tuning in, and you know, you all have a blessed night, and maybe finish some discussions with him here after the show too, right? But you know,
I want to hear some stories.
Before we go, you know, we want to tell anybody who believing out there that, you know, we believe, you know, that Jesus is real, and it's a simple thing that, just like I told my brother here, is a decision you can choose in your heart. And in a based upon facts, intelligence is based upon love. And you realize that triumphs everything else in your life. Like, you could be the most intellectual person in the world, but if you don't have love, it actually means nothing. If you're so smart and you're so brilliant and you don't actually have love towards your own family and your children, you realize how meaningless life could be. So I encourage you, if you're out there and you actually want to have an encounter with God, you could actually pray and you could actually ask Him. And there's evidence that He is real. You know, Jesus is a real person that walked the face of the earth. And you know, and you as a human being, you have, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror and you can't see you're a dummy. But you know, you have a great night. We're out in Jesus' name.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being part of this show. I hope you really enjoyed it. You can go on over to our YouTube channel and click subscribe. You can also click on that bell at the bottom and you'll be able to get live notifications. For our Facebook viewers, remember to like, comment, and share, guys. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And if you'd like to come on down and be part of our live audience, we are located at number 12 Anna Street, Woodbrook. Have a great night. Thank you for being part of the show. Good night.